I'll let performing hate crimes in Valheim.
Okay, good afternoon, folks. Welcome to Smudcast number 398, Star Wars The Last Jedi Comic Adaptation Part 2, Atop the Fourth Wall. This is Linkara. I believe it's his channel. I could be wrong, but I think it's the same.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
So this came out, 2 years ago. And in case you guys don't remember, we did part 1. I did. Last year with, I think, Shiny and LitDev. And I don't know how far we went, but I'm quite sure we said, okay, that was enough Linkara for 1 year. So,
So you guys didn't finish part 1?
Oh, I can't remember how far we got. It was...
I think you finished part 1. It's just like, I think you decided not to continue for part 2 because it was just too much of us. Amazing vocals chords.
Yeah, he's loud. And this is normal volumes. We gotta turn the volume down at times, which is I've never had to do before in Smudcast. So it's like I was listening to normal volume, like, whoa, he's loud. Jeez, he screams.
Not even for Renegade Cut or Maggie May.
Oh god, you can barely hear Renegade Cut. Forget about him. Crank everything up.
Does Renegade Cut say anything worthy of upping your volume for?
I have no idea what Bears just said. Does anyone catch that?
Oh, god damn it.
Yeah, your voice is low again, Bears.
Like really low.
Max out your mic input.
My fucking leg. There we go. How about that?
Yes.
Much better.
Ah.
Okay.
Goddamn voice mod.
Okay. So, let me just check out the length of this thing. It is, 28 minutes. Okay.
Rip.
Probably 5 minutes of shilling for some product.
No, he doesn't do that.
He doesn't know.
Ironically enough, he doesn't do that.
So, I don't know exactly what point in time it was from his first part, but it's probably halfway through the video or the movie that he's going to be talking about. So, in case...
I'm double checking right now. It's roughly during the point when Luke starts, like, mentoring Rey and, like, the first look at it's like when they're at the mountaintop for the first time, and he's talking about, like, the Jedi Order and shit.
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about. Luke mentoring Rey. That doesn't make.
No, Luke mentoring Rey in Last Jedi. Yeah, it's like
pretending to mentor.
Part 1 leaves off after at the scene where Luke says, like, the whole everything you just said is wrong part. That's where part 1 leaves off in the review. In terms of the actual movie.
All right. Anyway, let's get going. This will take some time. And hopefully he'll have something useful to say. Usually he just describes the scene. You're like, yeah, sure, whatever. Then he'll have a comment, and it's like, oh, that's a bad take, and then he keeps going. So.
He'll have a bad take or a hilarious skit.
Well, hopefully not. So, let's go.
They cut. Fair enough, I like it, but it's not necessary for the story. The Force is not a power you have. It's not about lifting rocks. It's the energy between all things. A tension, a balance that binds the whole universe together. It's a big cosmic rubber band is what I'm saying. We get a good page demonstrating the montage of how the Force exists between things and binds it all together. Good job in translating the film's version to this. And this is the lesson. The Force does not belong to the Jedi. It was only a rental. It existed long before the Jedi and will exist long after they are gone. To say that if the Jedi die, the light dies is vanity. And as you can tell by how I look and live, vanity is not exactly a priority. However, during her meditations, Rey senses the dark side, represented in some weird dark hole, and she heads straight for it as it calls to her. When she finally pulls herself away, this is the point where she...
I don't know how he knows that he went straight for it. It's just a frame of her head with a dark, I don't know, halo around it, and it's like we know from the movie what he means, but from the scene in the comic, you're like, what? How did she go to the thing in her mind? Like, what are you talking about? How do we know this? So, not easy to convey in a comic book form, at least. Like, you're going from the movie to a comic. It's kind of weird to express that in that fashion. So, especially when you talk about your mind and having a vision. Anyway.
Like,
Subsequently,
leave psychedelic stuff to Garth Ennis and Alan Moore.
Well, at least make it make sense. And I don't know how she was doing anything in your mind. Like, she wasn't traveling anywhere. She was seeing things.
You can't make The Last Jedi make sense. I don't care what format you use.
Yeah, I know. It's kind of hard. It is tough to go from video to comic book and try to capture
it's
everything.
tough to go from shitty fucking story to a shitty story in a slightly different medium.
Well,
In this case, worse.
Yes.
it's slow enough that you could make frames of a page to at least convey what's going on, but that one was a little lost on me. But anyway, doesn't matter.
movie audience discovers that Luke's cut himself off from the Force.
How
Luke
do you
doesn't
do that?
explain why he did so, but he recognizes
I still don't know how you do that.
Well,
Like,
yeah,
the Force is an energy thing that binds all living things in the galaxy together. You can't cut yourself off from that. Like, we know from the fact that Luke was once a Jedi and a living creature in this setting that even if you kill yourself, you become part of the Force.
Yes, but what if he masturbates to those space cows all day? Is that
Oh.
enough for him to cut himself off from the Force?
No.
Well, maybe that's the Force cutting him off.
Or maybe like the dairy product that you get from that is enough that like you just it's kind of like alcohol. Like you just like don't think about the Force at all.
Look at
Well,
the lizard
You become
titty
like
milk
this
is
depressed hermit.
we do know.
Lizard titty milk is alcohol.
We do know he does have abilities later on in the like when he fights Rey, like he controls himself from falling. Obviously, he does that thing at the end. So it's more like he's able to mask his presence from the Force or from other Force users, because this whole topic was brought up in, what was it, KOTOR as well as KOTOR 2. How to cut off a Jedi from the Force, which is this whole ritual, and that's as far as we got. And I don't think Rian Johnson is that nuanced in storytelling to have this complicated process, and I don't think Rey is that smart, and I don't think Luke is that forbidding to actually say, "Hey guys, look, I cut myself off from the Force. This is how it works." Like, he's not going to share that secret. So
Just just remind everybody, Rian Johnson thinks that you can tell what kind of medicine a person has in a vial by looking at the viscosity. Looking at the viscosity, not testing it, just looking at it.
it's water.
Oh yes, I remember that. Yeah.
That was the hook to Knives Out. That was the proof that the fucking Latina maid didn't kill the fucking old dad that had the estate.
And it's still as stupid today as it was back then.
Yes.
All right.
strength she possesses as matching Kylo's, not just Ben. I see so much of myself in her. Maybe that's what I'm most afraid of. Yeah, I can take her.
Really? Is that in the movie? I don't think so. I don't.
Is that an innuendo?
No, it's not. Neither is it.
Oh.
And it's in the, no, it's not in the
Okay.
movie either.
What do you like in a woman? Well, besides me.
Besides yourself.
I see how strong she is, just like me. It's like, really, Luke? That's what you see?
No, this is definitely like added like in a monologue for comic, but this panel is just literally nothing. Like, why do you even have it? Like, you could just go ahead and have the next one.
Yeah. Let's derail Luke's personality even more. It's like, oh yeah, I see all these things in myself and her. It's like, what? No, you don't. Come on.
Leave that vision. Kylo and Rey are connected again, but a small point I really like: Rey's joy at seeing Rain.
That's joy. Really? I mean, with manga and anime, you'd have a big mouth open, your eyes are wide, your eyebrows are up. I think that's a smile. It could be, I don't know, a lip smirk. It could be anything. I don't know.
Why did she become a Charlie Brown character?
Yeah, it's really hard to figure this out. How is this joy? What are you talking about?
It's not. That's not. Especially with the later panels clearly not showing a smile.
It's mild bemusement at best.
I don't know. It's so hard to tell. Yeah.
After
My
living in
favorite are those chicken scratches on the left as stairs. That is like artistic.
That's amazing.
endeavor.
It is autistic. I agree, Mark.
Yes.
the desert her whole whole life, that must be a very welcome thing. Anyway, he asks if Luke told her what happened the night he destroyed the temple, but Rey doesn't want to hear it. And now back over to Rose and Finn, and it's time to talk about Canto Bight. We'll get into the thematic
Cantonica?
importance later,
What?
but something we do need to address is the timeline of the movie, which the comic sidesteps by not mentioning the specific amount of time that the movie does. And it is a criticism I
the
would
movie
grant
doesn't
you.
do that either, Linkara. What are you talking about?
He might be referring to the time it takes for them to, like, they have like a day or so. Was it like 20 hours or so to get to Canto Bight, get what they need, come back and enact their plan of turning off the shield or whatever?
Yeah, they're enacting the. Okay, so they take a ship, right, with hyperdrive. They go way the fuck away from where they are to another fucking planet and then come back instead of, ferrying people. Right.
Yeah.
Meanwhile,
people off
the
the ship.
First Order has like a device that can track any kind of movement on that ship.
Right, and the movie
Except for
time
it,
is
yeah.
like 20 minutes, I think, or 20 to 25 minutes of Canto Bight scenes.
Yeah.
So how that translates to 20 hours, I don't know, but it's around there.
Time skips.
The timeline movie is a bit wonky, especially in regards
A
to
bit?
Rey's plot versus Finn and Rose's. We can, however,
That's an
reason
understatement.
things out a bit. It feels off because the movie gives us that ticking clock of 18 hours. The Last Jedi picks up right where The Force Awakens ends, with Rey handing the lightsaber to Luke, so it feels like no time has passed at all with the Resistance either. Except it has. At the end of The Force Awakens, we see that 3PO's arm has been restored to normal, and Leia's wearing a different outfit than she'd be sporting at the beginning of The Last Jedi. We can assume that the First Order's takeover of the galaxy took at least a few days. Sure, they lost Starkiller Base, but they clearly had a lot of military assets available to them. Remember, they're Empire remnants who have been working for 20 years to make a sizable force again. Without the New Republic's leadership to organize its own remaining military, the First Order were probably ready to just start wiping them out in no time before they went after the Resistance. It's only then that they started scrambling the evacuation, since they clearly weren't in a rush to get out of there at the end of The Force Awakens before Rey landed on Ahch-To. Considering it was apparently not on any known star chart, it probably was actually out of the way, and it would take time for her to get there. And when you consider what actually is happening during her time there, not really that much. The timeline does match up a little better. Even accommodating for when the chase in the movie begins, there is room for several more hours, maybe even a whole in between scenes.
Okay, wait a second. The ending of Episode 7, she's already on the planet reaching out to Luke, handing him the saber. Now he's saying that probably took a few days. And because of that time, a supposed time skip, that caused the First Order to become the galaxy dominant force. You're like,
Yeah, you can just like fucking take over the entire galaxy in a day and a half.
they just lost their mega weapon during the same
No,
day.
No, it's fine.
No, I didn't mean in between movies. He meant the ending takes place days after everything else.
Right.
Yeah, but
That's
you
what I
can
took from it.
just take but you can just take over an entire fucking galaxy in a day. That's how that works.
Not without Starkiller Base.
If they showed...
Apparently yes, you can.
Yeah, apparently. If they just showed a
Because they
map...
didn't have it, and then they did.
If they just showed a map of the galaxy and like the areas that they were previously didn't have, and then they just cover it in red or something. These are the ones we took over in the past week, sir. It's like it's a slow campaign. It's like, oh, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, they don't even do that.
Yeah, something simple enough for us to wrap our heads around the state of the galaxy, just to say, okay, it's not like they just came out of nowhere and boom, they're in charge. It's like, no. There's something going on that took time. So,
I'm just gonna say like a day between the rest of Force Awakens and the actual ending.
it's still crazy to think that's the kind of...
I mean, it is. I'm not denying it. It's just
Anyway,
Like one day you show up, the next day you rule the galaxy.
his
I don't understand
explanation
what
is
about
just
this
like,
to
dude,
understand.
really? That scene where she travels to Luke at the end of the film took like days? Okay.
A sudden takeover like that would make sense in something like Half-Life, where you have the Combine attacking only one planet.
Right.
This is just ridiculous.
But it's the same problem later in the film when Rey leaves Ahch-To to regain the fleet, and she's just there. Like, it just happens. So that means the fleet was also traveling and running away for days, weeks possibly, being attacked by the First Order. Like that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it doesn't.
So anyway,
It's just a bit confusing, and it doesn't feel like it matches up because of the final shot of the last movie. Although maybe we should just go for the more hilarious option, where Luke and Rey were just standing there staring at each other for a few days before she finally gave him the saber. Anyway, they arrive at Canto Bight, having gotten there thanks to a shuttle that has hyperdrive. I'm guessing a shuttle with hyperdrive isn't something they have very many of, so it's not really an escape route.
yeah. So there's the other joke of the movie.
Escape route. You can go in and go back. You can make multiple trips.
Yeah. So the idea
First
is
Order
that
didn't stop Finn and Rose
they
ever.
had all these ships, they had all these shuttles that did have hyperdrive. They didn't bother to use them, or they got destroyed.
And how many people are there on those Republic ships? Because like, if it's really, because by the end of the movie, it's only like 10 or 15 people who survived. So
Yeah. So
essentially, they could have packed all of those people on these shuttles and get the fuck out of here.
right. So the idea behind the tracking technology, which they never really explained, said, yeah, they can track people in hyperspace, but how many at once? And that's the question. So if they did it all at once, at least some could escape.
And even then, it's revealed that it's because of the damn bracelet that they can track, so they can only track the one person with the bracelet.
Was it revealed to be that? I can't remember.
It was the bracelet, yes. That's
Is
what
it?
they were able to track through hyperspace.
Is it because in the next movie and the other ones, they can track people because whatever? Like
Light speed.
yeah, light speed.
Or at the very least, the bracelet made it easier. Because that's what she was also using to let Rey know where they were.
Is it really? Like, I don't think it was ever mentioned. Like, I think like Finn did mention that it's a danger for Rey because then she would return to
Right.
that point and
Yeah.
she would be surrounded by Imperials. I mean, it's First Order, whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
that's where he said it's like that's the same way that it's letting Rey know where they are. That's also what the First Order is using. Isn't that what they said?
Yeah, but Rey going back to the fleet can only benefit them because of her Mary Sue status.
Yes, but the characters are unaware of that.
I mean, in
I
universe.
don't see how.
Maybe Finn, by the final movie, that was like the line that he was supposed to deliver to Rey, like, Rey, I know you're a Mary Sue.
All right.
I mean, remember it was on crate. It would have probably caused an avalanche.
Here we go.
Anyway, Rose hates Canto Bight, mentions how it's filled with terrible people, yet Finn is taken in.
Why are they terrible people?
Because they're on vacation at a casino, Smud.
Aristocrats.
They're having a good time gambling and relaxing on this wonderful, beautiful place.
Because
Snooty rich
capitalism,
people, I
man.
guess.
Like, literally, all we know about these people, like, anybody could have been there. Like, imagine just a couple, they want to go on a honeymoon, you know? They save up a lot of money, they're having a good time, and then they get trampled.
Lando could have been there if they fucking felt like it.
Yeah, I don't think every single person here makes weapons, and even so, how does that make them evil?
Oh, gun bad, that's
Gun
why.
bad. Oh, yeah, okay.
The gun's back.
Guns are bad, guys.
There's only one way to be this rich. It's weapons.
Or fuel.
Did you say, Mark, did you take that from DS9?
No, that's from... No. DS9 has good dialogue. What are you talking
Yes,
I'm just
DS9
like-
is way away from this.
I mean, I'm just saying, you just reminded me of Gala. That's what I'm saying.
No,
just
but
like
like
with the-
Rose had like one of these lines, like they
You can only
selling
get
weapons
this
is the
rich.
way to get them this
Yeah.
rich.
You can only get this rich by selling weapons or food or fuel or,
Steel,
Okay.
iron,
steel and iron and, wire.
Hyperdrives.
Hyperdrive engines or...
Yips.
missiles. I don't- What's a weapon, technically, I guess?
Oops.
Communication devices.
Com devices, droids,
Or running a casino,
they're running a casino.
Or capitalism.
or betting on
being
the
a bartender.
betting on the games. Yeah. Anyway, yay.
by how glamorous and fancy the casino looks. It's only after they spot a race using weird camel horse things called fathiers that Rose explains why she hates such a beautiful place. Looking closer, the fathiers are heavily abused for the race, and the guy.
No, they're not.
Okay, like they get little prods, right? Little prods to go faster. Like, I don't know if anybody knows. I don't know if you guys know this, but cattle prods, they deliver less of an electrical shock than your average taser.
The way that I saw that is that if you ever watch a horse race, they have little horse whips, and they smack the back of the horse for it to run faster.
Yeah, it's a riding crop.
So you see, I don't know if you've ever seen these crazy riders. They just, every gallop, they just smack and smack and smack and smack every time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because horses are lazy. They don't want to race. So you have to keep smacking them so they keep going. So I'm like, yeah, that's what you do. It's not the nicest treatment of an animal, but that's what they're designed for. So
Better than an actual taser.
Also abuse the child slaves they have. It's a metaphor for the larger issue. Everything beautiful here is corruption and exploitation. People in the casino, they're war profiteers.
Hold on. Child slaves in a world where droids exist.
Yeah.
they seem a little stupid, yeah. It's just like, let's have perfect machines that do everything we want. It's like, no.
Yeah, like you can make a machine designed to do a hyper-specific task all day, every day, except for when it needs maintenance and refueling.
That's like another retarded
or you can
thing.
have a 7-year-old child.
And this isn't even the first time Star Wars has done it either.
And it's not even like a 7-year-old Wookiee child that's like 5 times stronger. It's human children.
Now, this is kind of funny because we later learned from DJ that they sell weapons to everyone. They don't care. So if they're selling weapons to everyone, how are they good or bad? They just seem to be business people.
Honest question. How the hell are they selling it to the Resistance now? There's no New Republic that they can use as a front.
It's all
Well, the same way they did during the OG trilogy, pretty much.
Yeah, but they're on the run right now. They have nowhere to go.
Well, right now in the movies time, yeah. But like that, outside of it, they probably can manage to do that.
Fair.
So obviously Rose is angry because something happened to her sister that died in war and all this other crap the town she came from.
No. Rose does
Life
not.
sucks.
Rose shouldn't be mad at them for selling weapons. She needs to be mad at the fucking retards in the Resistance that bought those those ships that her sister was on.
Oh, those things.
The bombers.
Should have bought more A-wings or Y-wings.
Yeah, or literally anything other than a fucking giant, 2-mile-an-hour ship made out of paper mache.
Yeah, I'm just like, where the fuck are the B-wings? They're literally, what was it, the B-wing or the Y-wing that's the bomber?
They're
The
both.
Y-wing was an older. Well, I think it was first invented during Clone Wars, and it was even shown in some of the scenes. But yeah, B-wing was even invented by Admiral Akbar. So it's kind of ironic that he's on the fucking ship and not a single B-wing is there. But you can still see X-wings. It's just you can't have the argument that like they are too old of a model to even use in battle anymore.
But guys, you don't get it. The fucking bomber ships, the fucking bomber ships, they have a higher payload that we couldn't have possibly strapped or installed into a B-wing or a Y-wing.
People don't really know what the Y-wing is.
Yeah, that's true.
And that's unfortunate.
Or whatever shit Just Right was saying.
It's pro tip: play Rogue Squadron.
Yes.
Most
Yes.
people do not know what a Y-wing is.
Any self-respecting, any Star Wars fan worth their salt should play Rogue Squadron at least once.
Okay.
Particularly to the First Order. Rose knows because of her backstory, being from a mining system whose ore was stolen by the First Order to finance their military, and in turn,
This is like still hilarious to me. Like every time I see this, like Rose is explaining this at great length to a fucking child soldier next to her.
Mm-hmm.
What does she think? Like, what kind of things Finn went through?
I'm pretty sure Finn's had it worse.
No, it's fine.
Like, I was hoping that like Finn was like not saying anything to Rose because like he had like too much of like a PTSD from all those events, and like eventually like it would turn out that Rose realizes that like like Finn probably had it worse than me, but no.
Well, Rose was one of many victims of the First Order. Finn was actually part of the First Order.
Yes, but
he's
he
also
was
a victim.
He was a victim. He was brainwashed by them.
Yes.
I'm not saying he's a victim. I'm saying he was actually part of the First Order, had it worse, being brainwashed, being trained, and everything. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, yeah.
Especially since it's I can only assume he was abducted pretty much right after the fall of the Empire.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Which had to have made things even worse.
Here's Vladimir Dragonov. Thank you for the 5. Why would you use what is basically a strategic bomber in a naval engagement? I don't think the fact of using a bomber is bad. It's because of the design and the specs of the bomber were not, for at least space combat, were not properly...
Yeah, you need...
The
flying fortresses, the flying fortresses back in good old World War II, like those motherfuckers were slow, but they were heavily armored and flanked by regular fighter jets that could, dogfight the enemy fighter jets and keep them from blowing up the B-52s before they can drop their payload.
Yeah.
Like they sent the fucking we had what? Fucking pilot guy. I can't remember what the fuck his name is. Latino pilot guy. Like, he was the only one out there doing anything. And then they send out the paper mache bombers that fly at 2 miles an hour.
Poe.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, they literally blocked the very existence of the Y-Wings out of their memory just to make this somewhat work, except not really.
Not really at all.
Exactly, not at all.
When a third of a fucking broken TIE fighter can fly its way through 2 of them and set off their payload, there is no point to this bomber.
Remind me, how many bombers were there total? Like 3 or 4?
6. And 1 made it. And then 6, 1 made it, dropped its payload, and then couldn't move out of the way of the explosion that it dropped.
Was it 6? I think it was 20 bombers.
Oh.
No, it wasn't that much. It wasn't that many. I know
there was
that
a
much.
scene when like Leia was looking at like the results and like not a single bomber survived. I'm gonna look it up the scene.
Yeah, none of them survived.
I thought there were like 11ers, so I could be different, but I think there was a bunch of X-Wings on that console as well, some A-Wings. So
if it's in the double digits, that's even more pathetic.
Yeah, I think it was like 4 or 5, I guess.
yeah, that's why we always argue, like, if they have
stupid.
that much of a payload, why don't they have some of these bombs be set up with some of the X-Wings? Because X-Wings are sort of all-rounder ships. They can do
just remember that the Y-Wings are a thing.
Or remember that you can fly a ship at light speed into a capital ship and bisect it.
yeah, that's a thing.
At the end, I know it's dumb, but that was just they left it for the end because stupid movie.
You can't leave that for the end. Like the entire thing, the entire point of this movie, the entire plot, the A plot to this movie hinges on a slow ass space chase. When you could have sent any of the ships that got slowly bombarded and blown the fuck up to turn around and lightspeed ram into the capital ships of the enemy.
Yeah, like a last ditch. Like, I'm not going to survive this. I may as well become a weapon. Just launch myself into.
Yes. Or no, again, droids exist. Have a droid do it. Like you get
That's
in
like
the
another
escape
thing.
pod, have the droid kill itself, and then just buy another droid later.
Damn right. Like, it's like another thing that Star Wars never addresses. That like after like the prequels, did they outlaw having droids driving any kind of like vehicle? Because the Trade Federation was pretty much like abusing that.
I wouldn't be surprised if that was the reason.
That'd be stupid.
That would be stupid, of
They
course.
still
but-
they still use fucking R2 units and R4 units for navigation and autopilot.
Yes, for navigation, but like for automated systems.
and autopilot.
Yeah,
So like
no excuses.
have an R4 unit fly its way into the First Order
All right.
in one of your smaller
Would
capsules.
really be able to do that with an entire flagship?
Yes. No, just do it with a Corvette. You don't need to you don't need to sacrifice your flagship. Just fucking throw a Corvette at it.
Yeah, the problem is the physics involved of going to light speed. Like we're in hyperdrive in Star Wars is so powerful. We're talking about how much distance it can cover. They can go from one part of the galaxy to the other in, I don't know the exact time frame, but we're talking minutes. Like it's extremely powerful. But the assumption is you're going through another dimension. You're going into hyperspace. However, to get there, you have to accelerate your ship to a certain point. So the assumption is before you break into that magical dimension, you're accelerating your ship extremely quickly. And if you even get near the speed of light, like even remotely close, that is enough energy to annihilate anything within a massive area. So I think the calculation was done with that. I can't remember the guy's name. He's no longer part of the channel, but he used to do this science program where he talked about movies and the science behind movies. And he explained the physics behind it, at least some of the physics behind it, what kind of explosion that would do. It would just annihilate.
On your channel or somewhere else?
Sorry?
On this channel or somewhere else?
No. This was this long-haired dude who was really into physics. And
I know who you're talking about, but I can't remember his name.
yeah, I covered him once before. But like anything near the explosion would just be atomized. Like there'd be nothing left of these objects. So this is like kind of obvious. And once you start talking about relatively kinetic kill vehicles, relativistic kinetic kill vehicles, like you're sort of breaking open this Pandora's box of, oh, you could just weaponize this, and this would, like, the whole concept of Star Wars would be over. And and Rian Johnson didn't think this through. He clearly did not think this through.
It's
And-
like, that's it, no more Star Wars.
and
See you
yeah,
today, everybody.
And JJ was like, "Oh, this is so impossible. It's like 1 in a million chance. 1 in a million chance isn't that bad?"
One in a million. Okay, 1 in a million chance. That means that fucking Admiral Hodor was trying to run away.
Even if it's like get as close as you can to an object you want to ram into, and then go into hyperspace, I think your chances would be pretty high.
One in one. Yes.
Like almost impossible not to hit. So, yeah, I question JJ, and obviously we have to question Ryan of his thought process here. Anyway, I'm a little late on these.
Implying Ryan thinks.
Well, I'm sure he does, just not very well. Here's Crumb. Thank you for the $9.99. Fun fact: Linkara beats the monkey to pictures of the green M&M and Muppet
Yes.
gangbangs. What the hell are you talking about?
That is
What are you
accurate.
talking about?
That is accurate.
I know it's
While he's
pretentious, but I don't
shouting,
think he's
the
wrong.
Lightbringer.
Okay, thank you for that wonderful trivia about Linkara.
I know he's. Hey, I know he can be pretentious. I don't think he's that nutty in the head.
No, he did.
Did he?
Yes, he's got doxxed. People found like shit of him on old fucking text porn sites. He'd be role playing with people.
Fun. Okay.
There's like a Mr. Metaker video about it, documenting every single thing about it.
Watch the Mr. Metaker Channel Awesome series because it is oof.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
That is the
Funny
first.
shit.
That's the first time I've heard of this shit. What the fuck?
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on.
Here's Vladimir Dragunov one more time. What I'm saying is those bombers seem like they'd work in an atmosphere better than in space.
Yeah, they're based. I mentioned the flying fortresses. That's what Ryan based them directly on.
But this is Star Wars.
Yeah, but it's Star Wars, and you're going into a moving target in space.
Yeah.
So why do you have a slow-ass fucking thing that relies on dropping a weapon onto a stationary target?
All right. And here's 2 more from Vladimir, pretty much the same point. They should have used tactical bombers like B-Wings or Y-Wings. We've talked about that.
Yes.
Also, why do the
Both of them
bombers...
can do it, okay.
Or anything.
Why do the
Or
bombers...
just flying Fly a ship.
not have shields. It's the same thing. Whenever the movie doesn't need shields, they're not there. They don't work anymore. So it's not just the bombers. It's the big ship. It's the hangar bay. It's just everything. Shields work and sometimes they don't. We don't know why. It's just convenient. It's, oh, look at that. The shields only work for energy weapons except for missiles and actual ships. And you're like, what?
Mm-hmm.
Great design. Anyway, back to the video.
Use said weapons on the civilians as a test. A lot of people dislike the Canto Bite segment. They see it as pointless, especially given what happens later in the film. Especially since it takes up too much time.
Yes.
Although really it doesn't take up very much of the film at all. But even ignoring
any
that...
time is too much time.
20 minutes,
Any time is too much time, Linkara. That's the problem.
I think it's closer to 15, but yeah, it is a long amount of time.
I think in total it was half an hour for them to get off from the plane.
Any time is too much time.
Yeah, you don't want to waste the audience's time with plot threads that go nowhere or mean nothing. So that's very, very critical to the story. You don't want to just bring them down. Well, you can bring characters or audience members down the garden path, but you have to have a darn good reason.
Yeah, exactly. Because, like, if you boil it down, what did those scenes add to the story of Last Jedi? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. They just made a circle.
Capitalism bad.
Yes.
The
and
only
they beat
thing,
Admiral whatever.
Captain
Phasma.
The only potential thing was a speech by DJ after all those events where he just says, don't give in to this machine, Finn. Just get out of it. And it's like, okay, that's a message that he's trying to impart and tell him, listen, there's no good or bad. It doesn't matter. It's just a bunch of crazy people trying to kill each other. So get out of there.
Except not. One side is ruled by a fucking fuckface Sith.
I think like Big Lebowski, like philosophy.
One side blew up 5 planets. The other side has blown up no planets. There is a good and bad in this scenario. What are you talking about, DJ? You fucking idiot.
All right, here's Vladimir Dragunov. If shields only work for energy weapons, then why haven't they switched back to solid projectile weapons? Well, that's the problem. Exactly. When we saw the torpedoes hit the bridge, it's like, oh, shields don't work. Why don't they always use missiles? So it's kind of this weird stuff, but we don't understand the way shields should operate. Can they enclose a vacuum? Sometimes they can. So there's certain kinds of shields. Maybe we don't know. There's no explanation.
Like, in a situation like this, you have shields to protect against energy weapons, and you have armor to protect against physical projectiles. And then there's 2 types of weapons in the universe.
All right, so we are 4 minutes and a half in of 28 minutes. Okay, let's take some time.
This is Finn's character development.
Development?
Wait, where? Okay, I'm trying to think here. Where does Finn have a choice he has to make where he's struggling between A and B?
The one where he was going to kill himself and then Rose, yeah.
I meant on.
Rose,
meant on Canto Bite.
Sexually harassed him.
Oh, never.
Yeah, there's no character. I can't think of one character moment where Finn goes, "Oh, I can't do this, but I have to," or there's an option to run and he doesn't run. Like, where's that scenario? I'm trying to think.
Oh, it doesn't exist.
Never understood why the movie takes it that Finn was running away, while Finn was like having a very direct motive to just follow Rey and warn her that something is not right.
Right. He wanted to protect Rey.
Is that running away?
It's a dumb idea because he's going to throw himself into an escape pod for I don't know what. I don't know where he's going to go.
Also, I love how he's running away from a responsibility that he never undertook.
Yes, he never joined the Resistance.
Like, it was a temporary team up because they needed to know where fucking Big Death Star is.
If shields only work for energy weapons, then why haven't they switched back to solid? Oh, sorry, I already did that.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know. I just my brain just goes bad scenes.
Again, you have solid physical shields or physical armor and energy shields. And then you have like 2 different types of weapons in the universe. Kind of like how Mass Effect did. There's a reason why they had armor and shields. Gotta protect from both.
Alrighty.
More about said development later, but also it's a good world-building thing. That it's a galaxy, and not everyone is necessarily concerned about empires rising and falling, or that they're at least passively supporting them and do not care. Anyway, they're showing.
Yeah, that fucking takes away from all of the tension and drama of the bad guys winning and the good guys winning.
This is kind of strange because you're talking about, okay, do the First Order make their own food? I imagine they would, but they got to get resources somehow. So they have to buy them or grow them themselves.
No, they make more Snoke clones and then they eat them.
Yeah, it's all water and sugar. So
Yikes.
It's like the Mahler twins. You just take like a DNA sample and then you fucking feed it raw hamburgers and then a fucking new Snoke comes out and then you butcher that and eat it.
Well, this is calling into question all the other non-military transactions that happen between the First Order or the Rebels or the Republic or whomever and like planets. So all these people are like, hey, we'll trade you this for that money. It's like, great, yeah. Then the military takes it and makes weapons out of it, or they buy weapons or whatever. It's like, okay, are they supporting because they had a transaction of business? How
Yes.
how are they doing that? Like we're not supporting the war effort if you want to buy bonds.
Capitalism bad, Smud.
It's like if you're buying war bonds, you could argue, I'm purposely buying the bonds so I can give money to the government so they can spend it on the war, or I'm making an investment and I don't really give a shit what they do with the money. So it's
Yeah, like Scott Cawthon.
yeah. All right, here's an interesting donation from Linkara's wife's boyfriend. Thank you. Linkara's
Implying a woman would marry Linkara.
Linkara's floppy cascading jowls make it hard to listen to his voice. Also, don't know why anybody would listen to what this man has to say about media. When he created the Lightbringer comic, which I haven't read. Also, he lost his shot when one he plays mocked him.
What?
One he plays.
One ENG. He makes animations. He made fun of.
Yeah, that is golden. That's fucking golden.
And like he made fun of Nostalgia Critic too, and Doug Walker was like, "Oh, hey, it's actually really funny." And Linkara just spent like, I think he was doing a playthrough of one of the Fallouts. I don't know which. And
New Vegas, yeah.
New Vegas.
Yeah, and somebody asked him about Winnie, and he's like, "Oh, here's the guy that popularized calling me the Lightbringer." And, oh, fucking whatever. I don't give a shit.
Because his voice is kind of like mine.
So that's one of those things like where it's like, say what you want about Doug and his decisions. At least when people make fun of him, he takes the joke.
Mm-hmm.
All right, here's Tall Person for the 2. Thank you, sir. Wasn't expecting an ATW 4W on Smudcast. Unfortunately, YouTube didn't notify me until just now, so we'll have to watch from the beginning. Anyway, wish you all a nice day. I try to make it known that on the Discord, on Twitter, on Facebook, that I'm doing a Smudcast. So I don't know, maybe want to sign up one of those instead. I know YouTube's kind of weird these days. So.
I mean, mind you, these guys did part 1 last year, and that's the only time Smudcast has done Atop the Fourth Wall. So
for good reason, I think.
For a damn good reason, trust me.
Yeah. Well. Anyway.
Was parked illegally, and so the two are arrested and dragged off. Although for some reason the cops just kicked BB-8 out of the casino instead of taking it too. Back on Octo, once again a perfectly fine scene is ruined by narration as Rey trains with the lightsaber. Like, we can see Rey's emotions, and his constant judging of her really brings things down. Luke comes off less as someone disillusioned.
Even like, there's no way to ruin the scene, but it's just making it even worse, honestly. Like, do we need to see dialogue here? We just see that like she's doing this thing.
I want to know: is this the inner monologue of Luke? Is this her? Like, what's going on?
It's the inner monologue of Luke because it refers to Rey as her. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, right. Yeah, they have different like squares, different things for specific situations. In this case, the yellow squares for when Luke's talking in his head.
Right. Okay.
Ray's in a monologue is just barren wasteland, really.
She doesn't think at all.
It echoes. It's a voice.
But it's just the Texas chest in midair without any square or whatever to put it in.
You look into Ray's head, and it's just a gif of a tumbleweed.
The thing I don't like about this scene, what I don't like about this scene is that she's just sort of twirling the sword or the saber, when we know that Jedi use these things, which are super deadly, and you have to be in tune with the Force in order to properly wield them, because you could just twist your wrist by just a slight smidgen, and you've lopped off your thigh or whatever. So, like, these are like, oh, she's just practicing with an extremely deadly weapon she's not ready to use. When she could just use a
like
stick.
Luke was like so scared to like hold that thing first movie.
Yeah, he was like just sort of moving it around very slowly. He wasn't really swinging it.
He needed like 3 years to even be like novice at it.
Yeah, so the idea of being a Jedi is sort of lost in this film because she's just swinging a sword around, which is, as we see later, almost immediately later on, she lops off the stone and it just goes crashing down and nearly kills someone. Which is, I think, the funniest part of the movie. I think.
It doesn't kill someone, but it's like I think it's like crops or whatever. It's like she knocks down the thing knocks out a wheelbarrow.
Well, yeah, she nearly kills someone. Exactly.
Nearly kills someone. That's not the same thing.
Oh, it seems pretty dangerous to me.
It's still dangerous regardless, but it's like the finer details.
Anyway.
You know what? If like one of the gardeners would be killed by that, or caretakers would be killed by that rock, like I don't think Luke would have cared about it because the story just revolves around Rey. So
yeah, Luke would be like, "Oh well, life is pointless."
Well, she was annoying me anyway.
Yeah.
A douchebag who wants her to get off his lawn. Anyway, he takes her back to the cliffs for the second lesson, that the Jedi are now looked back on with fond nostalgia, but the truth is...
So the first lesson was just meditate and then run away in fear because she saw the dark side thing and he got angry or something. Now she was swinging a sword by herself, and the lesson is, here's a history about stuff. And you're like, okay. It doesn't teach me anything about the Force, though. Just nice to know.
At their jobs. At the height of the Jedi's power, Palpatine was able to rise, create the Empire, and then wipe out all the Jedi while stealing one of their order away to become his right-hand man. However, Rey counters that Luke was able to redeem Vader. An added line here is Luke lamenting ever telling the story of how he redeemed his father. But I learned how quickly a good tale spreads throughout the galaxy and becomes legend. Although a bad tale can spread throughout the galaxy even faster and become infamous. I mean, have you seen the reviews for the Cats movie? Rey's knowledge of that story and the legends concerning Luke and the Jedi are at the heart of her character arc through the movie. She and
she gets a character arc? Really? What does she do? What choice does she make that she has to choose between this or that?
She steals the identity of the Skywalker family.
Well, that's next movie.
in TLJ, she goes to the island with Luke, and Luke doesn't come with her, so she just gives up and leaves. Like you can argue that is technically a choice, but there's no conflict to cause it. It's just she feels really alone because Luke's not helping her. She goes to the dark side thing, and she feels this crazy emotion. She reaches out to Kylo. Luke gets angry, and they fight, and nothing happens. Then she leaves. Like there's no conflict there. It's just, I don't like you talking to that boy. It's like, okay. That's about it.
What happened that night when Kylo betrayed him. He had sensed darkness rising in him, but when he went to confront Ben, it was too late. He collapsed the structure on top of him and burned the temple to the ground, slaughtering all but a handful of his students. Luke blames himself, thinking he believed in his own legend too much. Rey insists that a legend is what they need right now. Although, as we see with the fleet, what they really need is more fuel, since one of the ships has run out and fallen behind. Its crew evacuated before the First Order destroys the ship. Also, apparently the world of Star Wars doesn't believe in autopilots, since the pilot of said ship stays behind and is killed. Back at Canto Bight, Finn and Rose are in a jail cell and don't know how to escape. but fortunately they've been put into the same cell as a guy who not only claims he can get them out, but has knowledge of the First Order's code systems that could do the job of the master codebreaker they came for.
Yeah, so that's kind of the big problem with the story. It's kind of convenient that this guy just happens to be in exactly the same location they need, even though they did everything and screwed up everything. So
Yeah, that's...
I'm in jail. The thing I needed all this time was always here. Like, really? Oh.
the friends we made along the way.
Gosh, all this crap we did to run around the casinos. Like, oh, no. Get yourself captured.
Now, this is a criticism I actually can get behind. It is really, really convenient that they just happen to be put in the same cell as this guy. However, I am willing to overlook that because this character, DJ, is wonderful and I love him. Played by...
Wait a second. Wait a second. You're telling me
He's not all that good of a character.
just because you like the character, therefore it's okay that his existence is inconceivable and makes no sense?
Yeah, he tends to have takes like that sometimes.
I mean, if you're going to go that route, why don't you just get, like, I don't know, a porn star and she's, like, dancing on a pole or something? Like, I like
I'm
her
okay
so
with
much.
Hitler because he made some nice paintings.
Yeah, like he drew a painting within a comic book. It's so ironic. I love it. It's like, yeah, go crazy. Do stupid shit. Say the dumbest shit. And, oh, it's so attractive. I love it. It's like
get the fuck out of here.
By Benicio del Toro, DJ is an eccentric thief with excellent lockpicking and code-breaking skills that he uses to get them out, with a very charming stutter to a lot of his dialogue and mannerisms.
yeah, but not in the comic, you retard. What are you talking about? Look, where is that? Okay, you can do that with dialogue. You can write phonetics. It's not hard. I don't see that. Maybe it's in later in the comic, but okay. Saying really loudly while I blah 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 to codebreaker thief, I can do it. That's fine. Maybe it's in later panels?
It's just like that clearly has a lot of history and interest.
Way back, Snoke's... Okay, so he pronounces Snoke with one extra S. All right? Is that stuttering? Maybe. It doesn't really come across as stuttering. It just comes across as he's sort of waking up and saying words slowly.
Intrigue around him makes me want to see more of him. He walks out in a different direction than the others, running right into the cops, but BB-8 has arrived and shoots out a bunch of coins to repel the guards until DJ can knock them out with his boots. What's your story, Roundy? Where'd you get the coinage? Bleep! A drunk alien in a tuxedo thought you were a slot machine? Fair enough. Pity they cut it out of the comic version, so I had to exposit it here. Fair enough. Finn and Rose escape through...
So he doesn't like the character in the comic. He likes Benicio del Toro and acts it out in his brain. Oh, he's such a great actor. No, dude. We saw one word, Snoke, where he said and then Snoke for stuttering. That's it. Everything else he pronounces or is spelled fine. There are ways to do phonetics, guys. It's not hard. You just slur your word that you're going to spell out.
Does he even say it like that in the fucking movie?
He's about to say a word like he stutters, like a person who stutters would say, but it happens here and there. It's not consistent. So,
okay.
Plus he doesn't have that many dialogue lines, so it's not a big deal. Fine, whatever. He likes the character because he's based off another actor. Like, okay, cool.
Because of the actor, yeah.
Yeah.
Right into the holding pen of the Fathiers. One of the child slaves wants to raise the alarm, but Rose shows off her ring with the sign of the resistance.
Yeah, so why would the kid care? Why would he know a thing about anything? Why would he just call the cops? What's the problem?
Did Linkara grow a third chin?
1, 2, and then his neck. So.
Oh, no.
Oh, okay. What is this divot?
I don't know. Anyway, if you're a kid and you're a slave, you don't know any better, and someone's raiding your place, and they show a ring with the resistance symbol, you're like, okay, what does this mean? Yeah, you have a ring.
So
with
wait, Bears. Is it atop the fourth chin?
Yes.
Fucking shit.
Stories and
Atop the
legends
fourth chin where calories don't burn. Yes.
us. They inspire us by wanting to live up to an example, or are cautionary tales meant to keep us from going down a similar path. Sister were inspired by Finn. We saw it with Rey's veneration of Luke, and we see it here with a little kid wanting to help the Resistance. Although that involves riding on the back of a camel horse through a bunch of stuff at high speeds. That's less inspiring and more painful. And so they run the whole pack of
Okay, that doesn't really address the kid's motivation to help them, and why. He just sees a symbol, he goes, oh, I'll help you now. If there was some history, like we learn later that the kids are actually playing together and they like the story of Luke, and they think I guess it's related to Luke. But at that point in the movie, we're like, why are you helping these people? They're raiding your home. Why would you not freak out? Oh, here, look at this ring. It has a symbol on it. Like, okay, I guess I'll help you now. Just point a gun at him. Same thing. Okay, I guess I'll help you now.
Or just fucking murder the child. It'd be better than letting him live as a slave.
Force choke the child.
Oh boy! Use one of those stun guns that Leia had. Yeah, that would have worked.
years through the wrecking up the casino in particular. Now, as I said, I like the Canto Bite plot because of what it will lead to for Finn's character.
Because you're an idiot, yes.
What does it lead to? What possible thing?
It led to nothing. It led to nothing. He almost had a motivation. Like, that had no, by the way, this had his motivation nothing to do with Canto Bite. Well, nothing to do with Canto Bite. But he almost did a thing, and then Rose played into the Asian female stereotype and crashed her car into his car and kept him from doing it. Things crash through glass and they don't have a single cut on them. Their eyes are wide open. They crashed face first through a pane of glass and they're just fine.
Always space glass.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, really expensive artwork glass.
Yeah, it's made out of movie prop sugar glass.
Yeah, I know. If you ever actually seen people make stained glass, it's tempered. It's got lots of layers, and it has these thick black. Well, most of these thick black putty or mortar. So it's kind of like brickwork.
Like onions.
Kind of hard. It has to withstand the temperature.
Stained glass is like onions. Yes.
Yeah, temperature, water, all these things. It's kind of hard, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Something very expensive shouldn't be very easy to break. That's what I'm also part of it. So anyway.
To admit, this sequence is a bit too much like a big CGI video game kind of thing that feels a bit too chaotic. Anyway, they get thrown off the Fathier near a cliff, nearly cornered by the police. Fortunately, BB-8 and DJ arrive with a ship to pick them up. Back on Octo, more unnecessary narration from Luke. This adaptation is really afraid of letting the art carry any meaning. And I admit, it's not great art. I mean, look at this shot of Luke here from the bottom of the page. Yeesh. But it still doesn't need all the extraneous talking. Rey and Kylo connect again. I'd rather not do this now. Neither would I. And we see that he's shirtless. Yeah, I really don't want to connect right now. By the way, have you heard about my 8-pack? Okay, just to spoil things from later, but Snoke is the one connecting the two, and I friggin' love that he decided that now, when Kylo just got out of the shower or whatever, was the perfect time to have them talk.
Why?
Does it hurt?
Why is it hurt? I'm not following. Why is that the perfect time?
Yeah.
Because he has his shirt off? Because he just took a shower? Like, what are you talking about?
Yes, Smud. That is the answer you're looking for.
I'm not...
Well, I mean, that's what we're saying. Why the hell did Snoke pick that time to connect them? It's stupid no matter what.
Yeah.
So Rey would get the shower.
Fuck you.
Anyway, Rey is confused why Kylo would hate his father. Kylo counters that Rey's own parents threw her away like garbage, so feels like she should understand. She rejects that, but he says they did and she keeps looking for father figures, Luke, Han, etc. He also explains what he thinks happened that night, that Luke sensed his power and feared it, and prepared to strike him down with his lightsaber, but he had woken up before it happened. She rejects this. Let the past die. Kill it if you have.
Yeah, but that explanation is accurate to what happened in the movie.
That is true.
That is literally what happened. So, like, reject it all you want, Rey. It's what happened.
Okay.
that you have to become what you were meant to be. A lot of people assume that that is the thesis of the movie, but it's not. It's the villain advancing his philosophy. More on that later. Again, this review is going to end up longer than the 5...
The villain's philosophy and Luke's and Yoda's philosophy are kind of similar. You know that you fucked up really hard. Because essentially, like, let the past die is like what Luke is like advocating for.
Yeah, the Jedi are just as bad as the Sith.
Yeah.
So they're all useless, forget about them. And with Yoda, he's like, yeah, you know, you screw up, you learn from it.
Yeah, like, have you even read those books? They should, like, fucking burn away.
They're not very useful.
There's no way that, like, Ghost Yoda would lie to Luke at this point.
Wow,
like, Rey picked up the books.
I just realized that dialogue was fucking a direct slap to the EU Star Wars books. Holy shit.
It was, yes.
Holy fuck. God damn it, I hate this movie even more. God damn it.
What, let the past die, kill if you have to?
No, the fucking Yoda talking about the old dusty books that nobody's read.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
God damn, I fucking hate... I didn't realize I hate that movie even more. But they managed to...
Like, it's stupid that, like, Luke in that 10 years of being a hermit, he never even read any of that shit.
He had no time on his hand to just go over there and, hey, maybe I should read some of this stuff I hate. Maybe I'll learn something. I was like, no.
Wait, he never actually read them?
No.
Forgot about that.
Anyway, apparently failure is your greatest teacher ever. There's no other form of learning.
No, Ryan Johnson hasn't learned a goddamn thing.
Well, maybe if the next Knives Out movie is gonna flop, then maybe he will learn, but I doubt that.
Oh, yeah.
Knives Out 2, Electric Boogaloo, yeah.
There's gonna be a Knives Out 2, really?
Yeah, it's gonna become a Netflix series, apparently.
Oh, boy.
Hey.
Anyway.
Remember when Netflix series was a fucking badge of quality?
Maybe at the beginning.
Maybe, yeah.
And then a certain movie that starts with C came out.
All right, let's go.
Episode is great. Rey travels into the dark side hole thing that she saw while feeling out the Force. She goes into a bit of a vision, seeing repeated mirror images of herself, traveling along the line until she asks to see her parents, and ultimately only finds herself. Oh my god. I'm going to travel through time and become my parents! She's recounting this to Kylo Ren.
So, yeah, that whole scene makes no sense, because nothing happened. You see, you have these flashback scenes, or whatever you want to call them, vision quests, and if nothing happens, the audience goes, what was that about? You've probably wasted our time again. That's not good. You want things to have meaning, even if the meaning is like, we're not sure, or that's the whole point. You have to interpret it your own way. That's what you have to tell the audience. You can't just sit there and go, what the hell just happened? Like, there's a scene in, was it 2001, Space Odyssey? Where you see that the monkeys and they're smashing all the bones, and there's a monolith there. You're not sure what the monolith means, but you think it means it's causing evolution or it's causing influence, something. And you're not sure exactly what the monkeys figure out with the bone breaking and this and that, but you're assuming, oh, violence. They're understanding force. They're understanding how to kill. And that you can then, that could mean all kinds of other things in the future for primates. And we can then we jump immediately to the future, and we're in a spaceship. So, these things are like, that's enough for my brain to figure out what that scene meant. I don't need words. There's no words in the first 10 minutes. It's just a bunch of monkeys bashing on bones. So,
honest question: how sad is it that I've yet to see that movie?
Well, it's not the greatest. I mean, if you like visual, weird, awesome things, then that's what you're going to like it for. Not for the storytelling. The storytelling is a bit questionable.
Boring.
So, like, if you watched that film in the 70s when it came out, or whenever it came out,
I think late 60s.
Really? Wow, that's amazing. Like, it's amazing for them to do that. That's
he released it in 68, so it was before the moon landing.
Jeez, like, to do those special effects at that point is amazing, but to watch it, and like at the cinema for, like, was it 3-hour film? I can't remember how long it was.
Yes.
it is like, oh, what the hell am I watching? Like, you are just like, this is not a film. This is a weird, creepy, what the long.
I will say the scene where Dave touched the monolith and all those colors happen. That is a really nice scene when you have had like 3 or 4 edibles in you.
Yeah. There's a bit too much interpretation in that film, unfortunately.
I mean, I survived the first 2 seasons of TNG. I think I can handle it.
No. No.
No, the first 2 seasons of TNG, there are things happening.
Yeah, stuff happens.
They may not be good. There may not be good things, but they are things.
Yeah, there's a plot line. There are characters. They're doing or they're trying to do stuff. In 2001, you're like, what is happening? It's a pen in space for like 30 seconds. Like, why are we watching a pen? I don't know. We just are.
Not bad.
A pen, yeah. Guy's on a cruiser or some sort of spaceship, and the pen's floating in space. And the stewardess comes by, and it takes so long, and he's like, da 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 da. She gets the pen, puts it in his pocket, and that's the scene. It takes like 2 minutes. You're like, what the fuck is this scene?
That's it? Or, oh my god.
Yeah, it's one of those films. So
Okay then.
anyway,
Moving on with the stream.
Yeah.
The two come to the other that they're not alone and it isn't too late to change. They bring their hands together and touch, but Luke, still the grumpy old man, interrupts. Rey demands to know if it's true that he tried to murder him, but Luke doesn't want to talk about it. She attacks him, demanding answers, so Luke responds by grabbing a pole to defend himself with, only making one motion to kind of whack at Rey. The rest of the time, not so much, only being on the defensive. However, she finally forces him back to get the truth when she whips out the lightsaber. And Luke, in this little Rashomon tribute we've been having, recounts what really happened. He had sensed darkness in a few moments during training, but that night he looked into Kylo, and it was far worse than he had imagined. A darkness within him that had already manifested. Snoke had already turned Kylo to the dark side, and in his visions, he beheld the death, destruction, and pain that Kylo would cause. The end of everything he loved. And in a moment of pure instinct, he ignited his lightsaber to stop it, and then that instinct passed and he felt ashamed of himself for the thought that he could attack his own nephew. Unfortunately, all Kylo could see when he woke up was Luke standing over him with a lit lightsaber, so he assumed the worst and attacked. And
No,
this
he
is a
assumes
big
the
one.
reality. Yes.
yeah, it could have just been this scary training technique that Luke was trying to scare him out of bed. It's like, okay, we're doing lightsaber training in the middle of the night, or something dumb like that.
Yeah.
Kylo Ren and beyond scared straight. Yeah.
Like, it's like, okay, but no, he's and plus at that point in time, Luke already has messed up hand. I don't know why he didn't fix that. Like, what was the point of not fixing his hand?
Yeah, he still has the robot hand.
Yeah,
Like Kylo, it's just but in what was it, Empire Strikes Back, that you can have like full on prosthetics that look human.
Yeah, actually, like in the movie, he had like a black glove on that hand. I don't know why the comic did it like this. Because I can understand that like he didn't care about those prosthetics and surgery things when he was a hermit because he couldn't maintain that anymore.
well, the argument is he used his hand so much for so long, and the skin just wore off. And then he went, I don't need this skin anymore. It's like, well, why not? Why wouldn't
Because
you?
he fucking whacked his dick into a nub. There's no point.
Like, if he's supposed to be this amazing guy who could build a lightsaber and he understands technology to some degree, it's like, yeah, no, I don't really care about having a human-looking hand anymore. Like, why? Is there a problem, Luke? Can you give us some backstory on why that? Like, give us a little comment at least. It's like, I don't like the feel of skin on my robotic arm. You're like, okay, fine.
That's weird. Why did you get the prosthetic in the first place?
Yeah, give us. I don't care. Give us any reason. I don't really care what the reason is. Just tell us why.
A lot of people like this movie. And I get it. They see it as Luke thinking about killing this kid, that his character was ruined, ready to murder his nephew when he had tried to redeem Vader, just for sensing a little darkness. Hear me out.
No.
1, he didn't just sense some darkness, he sensed that he had already been turned. Kylo had already betrayed him.
Darth Vader is Space Rommel. Like, this motherfucker has one of the top men in the space Nazi empire. Kylo Ren at this point has had bad dreams. And that's it. But Darth Vader has been top guy to evil Empire leader man for 20 years. Kylo has done nothing except be an ugly horse-faced twat.
Here's Tyler. Here's Tyler Preston. Jake Skywalker. I could talk to my nephew about these terrible thoughts he's been feeling. Maybe I could tell him about. I can even help his grandfather from the dark side. Nah, I'll just kill him in his sleep. I am smart.
Also, where the fuck is Anakin in this situation?
Where's anyone?
In some other better movie.
Yeah, where's that wise old hermit that pops in at the end of this film? Why wouldn't he go, "Hey, Luke, don't kill that guy you love"? Like, oh, right, yeah, I shouldn't do that.
Luke, it's just a prank, bro.
Well, thank you, hand puppet. I've seen the light.
Yeah. My Jedi master senses are tingling. I must kill this boy. Wait, that was really dumb. Okay. Maybe not go into someone's room when they're sleeping and talk to them in the morning. That might help too.
Like, I just fucking okay. Let's think about the real world example of this. How many steps are there? Like, okay, I've got my gun. I'm at my own home. I got my gun, my pistol on my hip for some reason, right? And then I go into my nephew's room, and I look at him. And I draw the pistol. I rack the slide. I disengage the safety. I aim it at him. And then I'm like, oh wait, I shouldn't be doing this. At the last second before he wakes up and sees me. Like, what? How? How do you have Luke Skywalker do something like that?
Yeah, well, we have to compare this to when he was fighting Vader, where Vader was taunting him about, hey, if you don't help me, I'll choose your sister and she'll help me or whatever. And he got angry at that because that's his family. He's saying, hey, I'm going to go. I have the capability of going after your sister, and that's family to him. So he's kind of defensive. So it's like, all right, fine, I'm going to fight you. And this is his own imagination. This is his own brain going, oh, I sense darkness in him, therefore I must destroy him because he has the potential to destroy everything I love. It's like, yeah, he has the potential. Anyone who's strong has the potential to do many things. And I think the Force would be kind of like, hey, here is this amazing future world of things that could be. And he should know by then that if he could sense these future possibilities, they're not real. Even the Force is not perfect. And we've seen that because there's all these dumb prophecies and visions, and they don't mean much. They could come true. They might, I don't know.
Remember in the much better movie, Empire Strikes Back, where Luke directly asked Yoda, of all people, if Han and Leia were going to die without his help, and Yoda concentrated and tried to give Luke an answer, and the only answer he could come up with is difficult to see the future is?
Yeah. This is like, Rian Johnson doesn't know what the Force does, how it works, and wants to make this bizarre scene taken from three different times, or three different perspectives, I guess two different perspectives, but three times over, so that we build this character up of Luke, of what was going on in his mind. When there is no character to build up, he is already this way. He's already foregone, and Kylo's already foregone. They're already lost. And this is just the last scene where they come together to try and resolve that difference, but it just doesn't happen. Luke gets covered by a building, and he's knocked out apparently, and Kylo has murdered everyone around him for no reason.
I just love that. Luke gets bonked on the head, and then all of his students die while he's asleep.
Yeah, like this would have like, a Jedi Master getting blasted by a student in a Force push just knocks him out. You're like, really? Okay. I mean, it could happen. But then Kylo murders everyone. Like, Kylo, why don't you just run away? Like, why did you kill all these people? Just say I got scared and he's going to kill me. Our master's insane. No, I'm going to murder people. Like, okay.
Yeah, I'm going to justify my insane uncle's attempt to murder me.
Now, I do recall, I don't remember reading the comic, but I do recall other people who've reviewed it saying there's a scene in here where they explain the death of all the other Jedi students. And
I think it's different one. They came out with a comic book series that was dedicated to Kylo Ren and how he turned. But like, I think like after, because Snoke was pretty much like responsible for all of this because he called the lightning into the temple and that blew it up. It wasn't Kylo Ren, supposedly.
it was this
doing that.
weird conversation between him and Snoke that
Yeah.
Snoke did all the damage, apparently, and helped him out.
Well, technically Palpatine, yeah.
Technically Palpatine. Yeah, okay.
Palpatine is behind it all.
Palpatine's behind. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Remember
An
Palpatine?
excuse to put it out in the open. 2, he had a moment of hesitation where he turned on his lightsaber and then immediately regretted it and felt ashamed. He did nothing. He saw darkness and instinctively wanted to attack. Hell, it's a lesson he's still struggling with
Is that
because
how
he was
you're going
horrified
to
when
treat
Rey looked
anyone,
into
Linkara?
darkness and
Yeah, that's how a Jedi Master deals with everything. He just instinctively wants to murder people.
Jedi Masters are supposed to be these Zen motherfuckers who only attack people in defense of other people, other weaker people. Or, you know, he could just attempt to murder his son, nephew in his sleep.
Yeah.
That works too. That's also a thing you could
The,
do.
the, the whole thing about the episode 6 was that he throws his lightsaber away, say, "I am not one of you. I'm a Jedi like my dad." Like, okay, he's not going to do that anymore. He's not going to get into fits of rage. And that's exactly what we see. It's like, wait a second, Luke. Why did you
Well, I mean,
change?
That was a fit of rage, and what Luke had was a fit of cowardice. So there's two different things.
Oh,
I
yeah.
guess.
Cowardice. I'm scared. Zzz. Oh, that was wrong.
Well, the end.
didn't. And finally, yeah, he redeemed his father after getting off that he sliced off his dad's robot hand, egged on by the
out
Emperor
of
who wanted him to take.
context.
Yeah.
Yeah, the context of him being up against the two most powerful Sith in the galaxy by himself. He'd been attempting to not kill his father the entire time.
So even
His
then,
father-
if let's say this all goes through, why did Luke run away? He would have tried to correct his mistake. He would have tried to go after Kylo and helped him, or tried to help him, because that's what he did in all the story of Star Wars from 4 to 6. He realizes it's his dad. He goes, "Oh, I gotta save him, not stop him," and he does that. He risks his life. He risks the galaxy in this crazy idea that he could redeem his dad because he believes he can.
Yeah, and the other thing is that like Linkara is not mentioning that this happened, and then Luke realizes that it was wrong to do so. And this happened when like Luke was in his early 20s, and then 30 years later, he's supposed to be in the same mental state. Like, fuck off. Like,
Worse mental
that's
state.
not how people work.
Yeah, like, a Jedi Master would seek forgiveness. He would try to right his wrong. Like, that would be a lifelong quest of his. And he doesn't do that. He gives up. He goes gallivanting with I don't know, was it Lando? Just to go, what was he doing with Lando? I can't remember.
They were attempting to find Ochi's dagger or some shit.
Oh, yeah, for some reason. Yeah, whatever.
And then they gave up. You know, they found his ship, but they just gave up searching the immediate area around the ship.
So he didn't go after his nephew. He just started looking for artifacts from the Sith for some reason. I don't get it. And he got bored of that and decided to retire. Okay, fine.
And forgot to get Lando out of that planet.
Oh yeah, he just took off. You know, left Lando without any bus fare.
Yeah, that was like, did Lando just stay on that fucking planet for 20 years to look for that stupid ass ship?
Yes.
I don't know.
Okay, bye.
And it would have been great because Lando ended up doing all the work that no one else could do. So
Yeah, well, Lando was done fucking the entire planet, so.
everyone loves Lando.
It's like Lando lands on the planet and then...
It's like, we need
10
an
years
army.
later,
Okay, let me call the
entire
galaxy up for a favor. Okay.
The entire fucking weird.
I mean, that's all just the children that he fucking
Yes.
made.
Like, he is the Genghis Khan of Star Wars.
Can you imagine
Yeah, like,
if the rebels just said, "Hey, we need help. Who do we call? Well, how about Orlando? He knows everyone." It's like, yeah, okay, do that.
Yes.
God damn it.
No, we gotta do it ourselves. Like, okay, sure.
The
Yeah,
final blow, just for the idea that he would corrupt Leia. And remember, all throughout Return of the
He
Jedi,
was
no, that
taunting
was
him.
not an idea. That was a threat.
He was actively taunting him.
That was a direct threat that Vader could back up.
And let's be clear, he didn't kill Vader. He just lopped his robot arm off
Yes.
to prevent him from fighting. In Jedi or Last Jedi, he was about to kill his nephew.
In his sleep.
Unarmed.
This is not how a Jedi operates. I'm sorry, they're not assassins.
Wait, who was unarmed? Kylo still had his saber next to him.
Yeah.
Okay, but if you're
I'm not
asleep, you're
justifying it, I'm just saying he wasn't unarmed.
Ginga, if you're asleep, you're unarmed because you can't fucking fight while you're asleep.
Fair.
Anyway, almost halfway done. Ooh.
everyone was telling him he had to fight, had to kill Vader, and he resisted all of them. And yet he went friggin' berserk on Vader during that scene. The
Yeah,
idea
but he didn't kill him.
Provoked. Yeah,
He stopped him.
he stopped himself, yeah.
He had an insight into saving his dad. These other people or ghosts did not. And he
Yeah, like that was like a moment of realization for Luke, because like he understood finally like what Yoda and Obi-Wan was blabbering about the dark side. He gave in to his anger, and he did see that it did make him strong for that instance. But like he understands like what it made him become, and he stopped right before he would have gone any further. It's just, he doesn't even mention like why he's doing it in the first place.
There's a bit of a difference between the scenes. I know we're trying to show parallels between the films, but it's like there's clear differences.
Yeah, this is like Quentin argument.
When you remove all context from a scene, then your point can be made much easier.
Mm.
The idea that Luke is capable of that kind of weakness ignores, his moments of weakness. And that's just
Yeah, but then he got over his moments of weakness.
Yeah.
He said, I'm no longer a Sith. I'm a Jedi like my father. He throws his weapon away. He's pretty much powerless at that point. And he accepts what he is. Whatever
I
the...
think this is like so visually appealing, this scene, because like he even looks at his hand, like the robotic one, and he realizes that like he can become like his father if he doesn't stop.
Yeah.
It's like, and he doesn't even mention any of this shit. Has he even watched the movie?
No.
Unfortunately, yes.
The only thing Linkara watches is Eminem porn.
Green
Back from that,
lightsaber.
please.
Oh, boy. Anyway.
the really example. Recall that even just the thought of his friends in danger got him to abandon his training and race off to Cloud City.
Yes, and
act
then
that
he got his
almost got him
hand cut
killed.
off!
Hell, his darkest fear in Empire Strikes Back is becoming Vader, becoming a monster. And of course he was going to overreact and run away from that when he feared what he had done. Luke is not perfect. He makes mistakes. And
Okay, that was like 30 years ago. I think he wisened up, and we know how he wisened up because we saw the scene where he fights the two.
Yeah.
Did he forget that? Did he suddenly forget? Oh, yeah, I went through all this crap like a long time ago. Yeah.
He had like the Joe Biden moment, like dementia.
Fucking goes up to the Emperor. Now listen here, Fat. You can't do you see that the corn pop was I don't work for you.
Oh God.
Oh, boy.
in himself his own failure and a cycle of pain that the Jedi started and his family has perpetuated.
What?
Even
The
seeing-
Jedi? What? The Jedi What? The
The
Jedi
Jedi invented
what?
Palpatine.
The Jedi started it by dying to Palpatine's hand. Okay.
What did the Jedi start in a cycle of violence? What is he talking about?
Like, the Sith are the problem. The Sith are the entirety of the problem. They're the ones that started it.
Yeah, also like 1,000 generations of peace doesn't sound that bad to me. Like, and then like came Palpatine and like took over for like 30
And then
or 40
along
years.
came Palpy, hurled his thunderbolts.
Yeah. this is clearly the Jedi's fault, guys. It's all the Jedi's
I
fault.
need to fucking see.
Fucking bear.
All right.
Okay.
As if the
could
mass
not make
murders
that joke, come
Kylo Ren
on.
committed could equal his one
Still
moment
funny.
of weakness. Some people can't accept that because Luke is a symbol of hope for them, of light conquering darkness. I get that. But here is the alternative thing you should take away. Not everyone just learns their lesson and then never makes that mistake again.
What? Wait. Okay, wait a second. You're trying to tell me a character development moment where they have an arc where they say, "I believe in X," and then you're saying later on in life they forget that? Is that what you're trying to tell me? So I went through an extremely traumatic experience where I say I'm never going to do that ever again. I nearly lost my life. I nearly lost my soul, whatever. I forgot about that. I was eating cheesecake that day. I totally forgot when I woke up. I don't know.
I kind of forgot how I redeemed my father.
Yeah.
Like, somehow Luke forgot all the lessons he learned in the previous movies.
I tell you, it's the green milk.
It's the great. You just forget. Yeah, it just makes him forget everything. Like, what am I doing tomorrow? Look.
Like, lizard
Yeah,
titty
relax.
milk is just lizard titty milk is just meth.
This is the
It's
strangest
all the
argument for Luke being not Luke. He forgot. He just forgot.
Luke,
What the hell? He's senile. Like, what the hell?
listen, it's cute when Mume does it. It's not cute when Luke Skywalker does it.
Oh God. Anyway.
Believe it or not, you, the audience, you're Rey. Seeing this figure
No,
of legend.
fuck
What?
you. I don't want to be Rey.
How are we Rey?
I want to actually grow as a person as I continue my journey through life.
How are we? Okay. I don't know what
Although
he means.
infinite power would be nice. I will admit that.
When he talks about a narrator or whatever, it's like we see the movie through the lens or through the perspective of a certain character, like the protagonist or the antagonist. And he's saying, well, we see it through Rey. In certain scenes, yes, because those are her plots, those are her stories. And then we jump to Canto Bight, and then we see it through another character's eyes. It's fine. It's a third-person view, but we see it from their perspective. It's fine. If you think we're seeing the scene where the third time where Luke is presenting and explaining what happened clearly or more clear through Rey's eyes, no. It's Luke's eyes. He's explaining the scene. He's showing us the scene, or the movie's showing us the scene. It's not through Rey's eyes. So no. I don't know what you're getting at here.
They're not pillar of always being right, always doing the right thing. But Luke is a who's just as fallible as any of us. I frankly think it's much more inspiring when someone keeps getting back up after failing over and over than it is
You
to
have
see
to
a guy
fail
make...
in different... No, if you fail in the exact same way over and over and over again, that's not inspiring.
Can you imagine, I don't know, a military instructor doing it for 40 years or whatever and just failing to not clean his gun or not, like, accidentally nearly killing someone with his weapon like that? I can't see that happening. I really can't. I could see a young guy doing that, a guy who's not paying attention or he's lazy or whatever. But a guy who's been cleaning weapons and maintaining them and taking them apart, putting them back together, like, I just can't see him accidentally almost try and kill someone. It just, there's too much discipline around weapons or being lethal. And you're talking about a Jedi who's supposedly this hallmark of goodness and discipline and peace and being a Zen master or whatever other things you want to attribute to a Jedi. I really don't think this is going to happen. The worst case we see that I know of is having sexual feelings, because they're taught not to have these feelings of love and lust and what have you, but they still have them. They're still human. That's right, but they just don't act on them. And there was that wonderful scene in the Clone Wars, which I do remember watching, with was it Satine or whatever, the female queen of some planet that was into
Mandalore, I believe.
Yeah, Satine.
Was it Satine? Yeah. And she is like, she's dying. She reveals her feelings for Obi-Wan. And Obi-Wan's like, well, I would have left the Jedi Order if you just asked me. You're like, really? That's interesting. I didn't know that was an option. I thought once you're in the Order, that's it. You're done. But apparently not.
The Jedi Order is like the Jehovah's Witness.
Well, then again, the whole backstory of Count Dooku is that he left the Order, became a Sith, and usually Jedi don't have anything to fall back on if they'd leave the Order, but in Dooku's case, he had the riches of his family.
Right.
Let's fill out this. Doesn't matter.
All right. Here is Non-Vitae Rex. Thanks for the 10. No, the Jedi failed to negotiate a lasting peace with the genocidal, power-hungry Sith. Therefore, everything that happens in the prequel trilogy is all their fault. It just makes sense.
It just works. 16 times the genocide.
In all honesty, would that make sense? In all honesty,
Like, we're gonna need a galaxy 4 times the size of our current one.
Yeah, we need... It's all the fault of the peacekeepers not to be doing enough peacekeeping. It's clearly not the fault of the marauders and the murderers and the galactic destroying people. No, it's clearly...
Honestly, the UN is pretty shit at its job.
Yeah. That's true. I'll grant you that.
Maybe George was trying to give us a message.
Message that the UN will never work.
George Bush is trying to help us, yes.
yeah.
Okay.
Like, somehow knocking down those 2 buildings at some point fits in the plan. I don't know how, but, yeah.
Oh boy.
The Phantom Menace was really just 9/11.
It was 2 years earlier. What the fuck?
Yeah, it was a
Well,
prequel.
George Lucas knew. He was trying to warn you guys.
Listen, The Phantom Menace is a prequel movie. So, The Phantom Menace is a prequel to 9/11.
Exactly.
Yeah, but the other 2 movies still came out after.
Yeah, but those are prequels to other things, Ginga. Try and keep up, man. You gotta get in the mind of George W. Bush. You gotta understand his intricate, deeply thought out plan.
No, thank you. I don't want to have any thought in common with W.
All right, we're halfway done. This is getting bad. Yeah.
Getting?
Well,
Now it's getting bad.
The first half was like he's just describing stuff, makes a few hot takes, like, okay, those are pretty dumb. But now he's like, oh dear, trying to rationalize this.
Now it's even more hot takes.
Yeah.
Make a mistake. Super awesome, perfect for the rest of their lives. I feel like people only paid attention to Kylo's perspective in this thing. This vengeful, evil Luke, ready to slay his nephew and forget Luke's perspective on it. His shame and guilt over just the thought of it.
No. That's the after effect. He's like, oh, I'm doing this. He has a moment of weakness, yes. That's the thing we don't grasp. I'm sure he's had multiple moments of weaknesses over the years by doing stuff, not getting angry. This is what Jedi have to train every day, to not be angry, to not give into emotion. And then he does, and you're like, wait, no. It's one thing to give into emotion. It's another thing to light up your weapon and about to kill someone, okay? That doesn't make sense. You're supposed to be disciplined. You're supposed to think defensively and for life and love and all this wonder preservation of existence. Not, I have to kill things because I had a bad thought. It's like, no, that would never happen to a Jedi. Especially Luke. He knows the story.
Right that Luke would not kill his nephew, but the thought that he might frightened him just like it had frightened anyone of good conscience. Rey believes that she can sense conflict in Kylo, that they can turn him back to the light and shift the tide in the war. She wants to go to him, thinking that he'll turn if she goes. The thing is, Rey believes in the legend of the Jedi and of Luke Skywalker. She thinks history is repeating itself and that Ben Solo can be saved like Darth Vader was at the end. She's trying to play act a story she heard, and that is her big...
If I go to him, I believe Ben Solo will return. If we go to him, I know... Is that in the movie?
No.
I don't think so.
Not those lines, no.
Yeah, I don't remember her ever mentioning, if we go to him, I know he will turn. Like, that is, like, what? No.
No, not in that not in that way, no. Just that there's the chance for it, not saying that it has to be them.
Yeah, that's weird.
That is weird.
I do not like this. I don't mind the adaptation from one to another. It's just changing the lines to make them like to make the scene different. It's like, no, that's not going to work.
Yeah, it's not that at all.
All right.
Character back at The Force Awakens, and you can tell her reverence at the events of the original trilogy, the excitement of rebellions, of the stories about the Jedi, putting on the fighter helmet and imagining herself somewhere else. She doesn't understand that this wasn't a story, it was real people with very specific circumstances and events that got them to where they were. Kylo Ren is not Darth Vader, and she is not Luke Skywalker. Luke says he can't help her and it's not gonna work, but she leaves with Chewie and the Falcon, rushing off before she's ready to confront an adversary far more powerful, with the foolish hope of turning him from the dark side, despite the warnings of her master. Now, where have I heard that before? Oh my God, shut up already! Are you really so bereft of imagination that you need to point out every frickin' similarity? You can't let actions speak for themselves! Not to mention, it's confusing two separate cases. Luke rushed off before his training was complete to save his friends, not turn Vader. He surrendered to Vader on...
Yeah, but Luke wasn't training her with anything.
He didn't surrender to Vader. In fact, like, he refused to surrender to Vader. He rather killed himself than go to Vader. Literally, that's the point of that scene.
And he said he was going to give her 3 trainings. He only gave her 2. The first one was just how to breathe, and the second one was a partial history lesson, a little bit of philosophy. So. And he said he wasn't really going to do much anyway. So, was she ever going to be ready? How do you know she's ready, Luke? Like, what would be your criteria for that? This is weird. Like, did he want her to be ready? I don't think so. He didn't really care that much. Got really angry and scared.
He just wanted to get rid of her.
Yeah. This is weird. This is a weird. I mean, Linkara doesn't like it because it's filler. It's filler material that doesn't need to be written down, but this is confusing even more so because it's like, this is not what Luke even wanted or even was going to do.
And his training was complete because he thought he could turn Vader, and he did. Luke has had enough, and
then why is Luke scared? If Luke was successful, why can't you think that she could be successful in whatever she's trying to do? She's even stronger than Luke. How is that wrong then? Why would he be filled with optimism? It's like, oh, I did it. She can do it too. Like, what's this message here? I don't know. What's the parallel between the previous film?
goes to burn down the sacred tree and the Jedi texts. A very cool thing to note is that he changes his clothes into the Jedi robes to do so. The very same robes that we saw him wearing when Rey arrived, meaning that it's entirely likely that he was on his way to burn down the tree when Rey got there.
And no, it was raining, and he got all messy, so time went by. A new day came about. It's sunny now. I don't think the rain just, went away. It's still the mid-afternoon. The sun's still out. It's like, no, it's the middle of the night. It's raining. It doesn't go from pitch black to, sunny again. He obviously cleaned up, dried himself off, and it's now the morning. Now, it gets even more confusing in the film because, Yoda can just summon rain clouds and lightning strikes, and it gets all dark all of a sudden, but, movies.
Anyway, as he approaches, who should show up but Yoda's Force Ghost? We get some additional dialogue that wasn't in the movie, as well as a slightly altered order of events. I'm ending all of this. The tree, the text, the Jedi. I'm burning it all down. Come here to stop you, I have not. Never before have I succeeded in preventing you from following your own will. Start now, why would I? Then why have you come? And so Yoda summons lightning down to destroy the tree himself. Yeah, I don't like this version. In the movie, he does it because Luke, despite his proclamation there, hesitated and stopped himself. So Yoda's just, fine, I'll do it myself, you idiot. They even cut down the back and forth for this scene. The dialogue is pretty much the same, but just a big lecture from Yoda. But yeah, here's where we get the counter to Kylo's philosophy. Yoda admits that while there was wisdom in the Jedi texts, there's more to this stuff than a bunch of old books.
And the line about Rey already knows she doesn't need to read them. She's already ready to go. It's all useless anyway. Plus, she already stole them, so he's not destroying the books. Oh, boy.
Make mistakes, get better, and that needs to be taught too. Pass on what you have learned. Strength and mastery, but weakness, folly, failure also. Yes, failure most of all. The greatest teacher failure is. Kylo believes that you can only destroy the past. Yoda teaches that you learn from the past, but you don't let it define you. Although considering Rey stole the sacred text before the temple was set on fire, hopefully that whole theft thing in her past won't be held against her. Hell, this scene further helps explain Luke's characterization here. Skywalker, still looking to the horizon. Never here. Now. The need in front of your nose. Tie that in with his remark.
Yeah, so I want you, Luke, to commit suicide by overdosing on too much meditation or whatever.
And green milk.
Overdose on meditation.
We must not lose this girl. Can you, like, sacrifice your life to just make some stupid hologram bullshit so she believes in you again or some crap?
Just
Like, pretend that you're cool, and that's enough.
Like, what was the talk after the scene when we jumped to Rey getting boarding the new dreadnought? Like, it's like, okay, Luke, you can't get over there in time, so you got to do some crazy magic, and that will kill you. I was like, oh, okay, Master Yoda, I'll do that. Like, what? Why would you do that, Luke? Why don't you get your X-wing that you can fix no problem? What's
ow.
Should do something else. Go in person, maybe. I don't know. No? Anyway.
He made earlier in the comic about spreading the legend. Luke is just as guilty of believing too strongly in the story of things. His ideal version of the Jedi versus what they actually were. His idealistic version of his father versus the truth of it. He came to this planet because he believed that the only thing the Jedi did was cause more pain in the galaxy, create more harm than good. The Jedi gave rise to the Sith, to Vader, and now to Kylo Ren. Whenever he's confronted with the reality that his actions would lead to a worse evil, Luke repeatedly does the same thing. He stops fighting. Whether it's...
Okay. If you think this is him giving up, you're wrong. Him throwing away his lightsaber is because he's rejecting what the Emperor is telling him what to do. He's saying, I'm not going to be a Sith. I'm not going to do what you want. I'm a Jedi. Jedis don't kill. He's not giving up. It's crazy for him to throw his weapon away, but that's kind of Jedi-like in that example. At least that's what he thinks, I assume. I don't... Like, this is not the same. He doesn't give up. He never gives up. Even the actor said this when he was looking over the script the first time. He's like, Luke wouldn't give up. He wouldn't just throw away and run away to some far corner of the galaxy. That's not Luke's character at all. This is like, why would you think he gives up? Because he throws his lightsaber away?
Throwing his lightsaber away in front of the Emperor, or leaping to his doom in Cloud City, it's just what Luke does. Luke Skywalker, the eternal embodiment of, I'm taking my ball and going home. Anyway, back to Finn, Rose, and DJ. DJ wants a down payment before he helps them with the break-in, in particular noting Rose's pendant. Finn doesn't want her to give it up, but she's dedicated to the cause. Finn also learns that the ship they're on is stolen. Well, at least we stole it from the bad guys to help the good. Listen, kid, you gotta stop with all the good guy, bad guy stuff. It's just made-up words. Let's see. For example, who owned this gorgeous hunk? Oh, this ship was owned by a serial killer of children. Okay, this was a bad guy. Never mind. Actually, it belonged to an arms dealer, one who sold weapons to both the First Order and the Resistance. Finn, let me learn you something big. It's all a machine, partner. Live free, don't join. And this, my friends, is the point of Canto Bight and Finn's character arc.
No, it's not. That has nothing to do with Finn.
That has as much point as a bowling ball.
DJ saying the lines is DJ teaching Finn. It's not Finn going, this is my revelation moment, or this is my choice, or my arc. That's not what an arc
you
is.
even brushed it off in the movie that, like, well, I don't care. Like, he didn't give a shit.
Anyway.
What a bizarre take. Because the wise man tells the secondary character a lesson, therefore it's an arc. Like, no. That's not an arc.
It is like everything that like ends with like someone telling him what to think is an end of an arc, like a character development, because like we have Yoda, we have DJ now,
Yeah.
and then like we will have like Snoke like telling Rey that like she's fucking pathetic and
With
going to destroy the
with
resistance.
with that example, Luke gets an arc, but we don't see it. It just because Yoda pops up out of nowhere and says, "We can't lose the Rey girl." And you're like, okay. And then how are we going to fix that? We have no idea what's going through Luke's head at that point because there's no scene. It just ends. I don't even know if that's in the movie. Does Yoda even say we can't lose Rey? I don't think so.
No.
So,
But Yoda is just telling that like Rey is like have outgrown them, because like this is something that the Master should accept. Doesn't really like bother with the fact that like it took Rey like 2 or 3 days to train much better than Luke or any of them.
Or Luke or Anakin or Mace Windu or Yoda himself. You know.
if there was some revelation from DJ that Finn says, "Oh, I shouldn't join," at that point, if Finn goes off and just takes another escape pod and leaves, then you can make the argument like, "Oh, he learned something. He's just dropping out right there." But he didn't. He's still going on. He's still fighting. So whatever lesson DJ gave him didn't stick or didn't work. What a strange thing. Hey, Finn, I want you to go buy some flowers. No, I'm going to go get some steak. So the lesson was Finn's character arc was to buy flowers, but he didn't actually buy flowers. He bought steak.
But steak is better than flowers. So.
Obviously. But I'm just saying, like, the lesson could have been anything, but he doesn't go along with it. So who cares? It's not a lesson.
It's fine.
It's fine. Character punk comes in, tells you something. Doesn't have anything to do with anything. Doesn't follow any connection. Doesn't have a plot with it. Doesn't have any motivation. No philosophy. It's all just a big machine. People make money. Who cares? Don't
Listen,
be part
Smud,
of it.
If you weren't a bigot, you'd understand the complexity of.
Oh, yeah. It wasn't a TLJ defender. Everything would make sense. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
It's so dumb. A guy said a thing. It's a character arc. Like, what?
Bear in mind, he's not on this mission because he believes in the Resistance. Everything he did in both The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi, it's either to run away from the First Order or to save Rey. He does not care about their cause. Hell, he thinks it's hopeless anyway. He's selfish, living free and not joining. And this is him being confronted by that reality. Because in this situation, you can pretend to be neutral or only look out for yourself.
Oh,
but that
that's
means you're no
dialogue.
better than the arms dealers in Canto Bight. Happy to accept oppression and suffering as long as you get to look beautiful.
Okay, so he was on this mission with Rose because why? He wasn't helping her? He's clearly helping her out. He's clearly helping the rebellion.
I think helping Rey, the single way to like get the Resistance out of this situation in the first place, is pretty much helping the Resistance.
Yeah, like he's on board. At that point, he's helping. Maybe he might have some second guesses throughout he gets into trouble, but other than that, no, he's helping. He's on board.
Really now, like that's like something that bothers me with sequels is that it's really just like Rey and Palpatine, like the battle between, like, because like everything else doesn't really matter. Because like once Palpatine died, the entire fleet collapsed because they got that one ship. They got destroyed the entire fleet for some reason. So if they remove the leader of this serpent, then it's all over. It doesn't go anywhere after that. You can like really see that like the military by itself can like go on for longer, while you could have that in the original trilogy, because that it looked like everyone was competent. Like all the leaders in this universe, though, they are like really incompetent on the villain side, and especially on the resistance side.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they would have been destroyed a long time ago if it wasn't for all these magical scenes where they amazed that they can live another day. And we see that happen. It's like, really? That big gun didn't fire? Okay, sure. Attack the base first.
Any of the guns didn't fire. They sent out one group of 4 TIE fighters to attack a capital ship.
Yeah.
You know.
We're not as fast as their ship, and their shields are too strong for the distance. Apparently, weapons distance is a thing, and the energy dissipates really quickly. They're like, oh, okay. Guess we can't.
Like, I guess like they want to go cost
them off.
efficient about it, but like really, like what we would have bitched about it if they sent out like 100 TIE fighters
Yeah.
against it, because they have like 1 million supposedly.
Why not just ram them? Yeah, just forget the light speed. Just normally ram them at top speed. Just ram them.
Have some of those Star Destroyers in the background, like hyperspace
Yeah.
ahead and then back, and then
Literally
pincer them.
anything, yes.
No, we can't do that. It's too hard.
Full and bet on horse racing. More on that later. In the meantime, we see what a good idea it is to join up with the good guys as their last support ships get blown up. And speaking of character development, it's time for Pose.
Oh no.
Oh please no!
Oh yeah, his character development of just follow orders and don't think for yourself ever.
Him becoming Given Vita.
I would argue he does get some, but not in this scene. This
He
is
gets some. It's a very, very bad fucking motivation. He learned to follow orders unquestioningly. That is not a good lesson to learn, ever.
Sounds like very authoritarian message.
Well, I mean, the people
Oh,
that
God.
made The Last Jedi were leftoids, so it fits.
Yes.
Poe storms the bridge and demands to know what the plan is. In the movie, Holdo gives some reassuring words, but here, nope. He just sees that the transport shuttles are getting fueled up to leave. We are nowhere in space, and those transports are unarmed, unshielded, first-order target practice. You don't have any idea what you're doing, do you? What the hell did Leia see in you? Leia's got a thing for purple-haired women. We've all got a type. After Holdo orders him taken off the bridge, Finn contacts him and asks him to buy them some time to get on board the ship and execute their plan. At the same time, Rey arrives with Chewie, having him drop her off in an escape pod outside Snoke's ship before hyper-speeding away again. And thus she's brought on board while DJ does his thing, slipping their own ship right inside Snoke's vessel. Meanwhile, Poe finally explains his plan to Holdo in the hopes of getting the time they need, but she refuses on the grounds that his plan is stupid, and they proceed with the evacuation, right before Poe stages a mutiny with some of his fellow pilots. Finn, Rose, and DJ steal some uniforms and hide BB-8 under a trash can, which, honestly, it shouldn't surprise me that this kind of disguise works so well. However, they're spotted by another ball droid, but black and evil, so they can sell more toys of it. They arrive at the tracking device room, and it turns out DJ just needed the pendant as a conductor for breaking in, happily giving it back to Rose. Poe's mutiny quickly starts to fall apart as Holdo gets away from the guards. Not that it matters much anyway, since as soon as our heroes break into the tracking device room, they're found out by the evil ball droid, who helps bring in Captain Phasma, having survived the destruction of Starkiller Base, and a bunch of stormtroopers. Poe is subsequently taken down by Leia, who has awoken from her coma and stuns him. Yeah, Poe, employee evaluations aren't any better in the Resistance either. Holdo elects to stay behind to pilot the cruiser while the transports get away, protected by cloaking devices. On Snoke's ship, Rey starts talking to Kylo, trying to get him to join forces with her. She says she saw the future, and that he'll join forces with her. However, Kylo says that in his vision, she joins with him. and that he saw her parents. She's brought before Snoke, who admits that he was the one who bridged their minds and pushed Ren's buttons. He then uses the Force to extract Skywalker's location from her mind. Meanwhile, Poe wakes up and Leia explains the plan to him. They're nearby the mineral planet Crate, an old hideout from the days of the original rebellion. With the transport ships cloaked, they should be able to escape to the planet unnoticed. I've been doing this for quite a while, you know. So is Holdo. She was more interested in protecting the light than seeming like a hero.
But what the hell does that, like, what, how does that help him?
Like, she's more concerned about protecting the light than being like a hero, so she let every single fucking capital ship, aside from the one she was on, blow up, and then she blew that one up too. And killed herself.
Like, what is her plan? If her plan is to, you know, have these distractions with these ships, why not just empty the people with the ships and put them on the transports now? Why have them get killed?
Hope is like the sun. It's hot, and you'll get a fucking rash if you're sitting there too long.
Like, did these people know the plan that they were going to be sacrificial lambs? And how many sacrificial lambs do you need?
Apparently all of them.
Because what you should have been doing during this time was loading them onto transports while other ships are getting blown away.
You know what? The way Holdo was acting in the movie, I honestly thought she was the traitor.
Yes. Mm-hmm. It didn't make any sense. She wasn't doing anything.
It's like, even if it was something as generic and predictable as like, oh, she was the traitor, but she turned at the last second. At least that would have been better than what we actually got.
No, instead she's just an idiot.
she's a shit traitor.
A lot of problem with Holdo not telling him anything, and
she just sucks at her job no matter what she does, and it's just like she just decides to kill herself either way.
I can't join that side. They hate me on the other side, so I gotta just kill myself.
Like, yeah, she's a first order double agent. It's like she sucks at her job doing that. They hate her on the Resistance already. It's like, I'm gonna die. But anyway.
And I understand that.
Sorry.
But let me try to put this in perspective by using a more modern analogy here. Say an aircraft carrier is being pursued by an enemy submarine. They're unable to find the submarine, but they know any second now it'll come in close enough to attack. The captain in charge of the carrier is working on formulating a plan of action. Even more concerned about it because the submarine seems to be able to do things that it shouldn't be able to do when it comes to pinpointing them, which could suggest a spy on board relaying information. But every 10 minutes, one of the jet pilots stomps onto the bridge and demands the captain tell him what they're going to do about the submarine. Not only does the pilot show blatant disregard for their...
No. He is the second most senior officer on the entire ship.
The other thing is that, like, he just fucking almost destroyed the Dreadnought by himself. Why would this guy be the person? And he also destroyed Starkiller Base.
Without him, they'd be dead.
There's no mention of a spy in the narrative at all, though. Like, no one brings it up. And
it's only like TLJ fans making up this.
These people are inventing this because they think the movie's better than it is. Like, they invented a better movie in their head, and that's what they think the movie actually is when it isn't.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Authority and rank, but continually refuses to follow orders, to the point where he used valuable equipment on a dangerous plan to find the sub himself without consulting...
You mean a small shuttle that can go to light speed is valuable equipment?
In this hypothetical, is he putting Poe as a traitor? Because I'm pretty sure no double agent would put themselves in a situation where they can blow their cover in a matter of moments like that.
And he could have easily got people to escape on that shuttle and kept them there on Canto Bight or wherever the hell they wanted to go. So that would have saved some people if he wanted to. Oh, jeez.
Insulting anyone of command. He just screams insults at the captain, demanding explanations from him.
Yeah, I think the crew have a right to know what's going on.
Rightfully so, yeah.
Sir, we're being attacked. What do we do? Stay course. Like, what do you mean stay course? We're getting shot. We're dying. We're losing ships. We're losing people. Why are we doing that? We need a plan. We need some kind of strategy. I don't care what it is. What is your strategy? Just keep going. Okay. What? I don't know. It doesn't sound like a good idea.
And it's not his job to know what the plan is unless it involves him. Tell me, who is acting appropriately here? The captain, who is doing their job and strategizing with...
What is the strategy then?
What captain refuses to answer the crew?
Why?
This point?
Why would the captain not reveal the plan or the strategy or the idea that they're trying? Like, what's their defensive maneuver? Like, what are they doing? Dodge, run, like what?
What captain wouldn't inform their fucking first officer of what the plan is?
Yeah. Imagine like fucking Star Trek with Kirk. Like, we're gonna go to the neutral zone, and then nobody fucking knows like why they do that.
No, they had that episode in.
They
TNG.
had that episode, yes, with Romulans, yeah. But like
No,
Spock knew it.
in TNG when Picard was put in that fucking that social experiment with those fucking big-headed aliens, and they replaced him with a clone.
Yeah.
Like eventually somebody is going to mutiny because you're doing stupid shit that's endangering the crew. And guess what happened? The Picard clone got mutinied against. So I don't understand. I don't understand this point that he's making.
Especially when you're in a life and death struggle of being attacked from a massive fleet. Like this is like we have protocols in place of what to do when you're being attacked. There has got to be some sort of practice and strategies or computer simulations that someone knows and says we're doing maneuver 4, and it's just run the hell away as fast as possible, strip all of our weight or whatever to go fast. Like something. There has to be something in your brain going, okay, we got to do that. And then the first officer can go, okay, that's an idea. Here's mine. And they have a discussion. That's what you do.
But here's the thing. In the movie, as soon as Poe was told the plan, he's like, oh, hey, that would work. And went along with it. So I don't understand what the conflict was.
I think the argument was Leia tells them that, oh, if it was revealed that it could have gone wrong or
what? No.
It doesn't have. I'm trying to remember the conversation in the actual stealth ship that they're in. I'm trying to. It's so dumb. I just like, what? Really? You think someone would have actually revealed this? And it gets revealed anyway, so who the hell cares?
Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
Those who are to accomplish the plan, or the guy who repeatedly storms in, screaming that he wants answers when he doesn't need to know them, berates the person who is in charge, and distracts them from actually doing their job. The person who
is also in charge.
Okay.
Like he's the first officer.
Let's say she reveals the plan of we're escaping on transports. Why the hell are all our supporting ships getting destroyed? Why are we letting that happen? Why are they dying? Like, at least Poe would be like, sir, if I understand what the plan is, but why are we sacrificing all these other lives and ships?
Also, like, if Finn and Rose managed to like sneak off from the ship without Holdo or any of her crew knowing about it, I don't think they would give a fuck about spies.
Yeah.
Like, that is never brought up.
Hope is like the sun. It makes you kill yourself in a really retarded plan.
It causes cancer.
Yeah.
All right.
in turn accused them of being a coward and a traitor while they were implementing the plan.
Yeah, you're getting people killed. That's pretty much the opposite of what you're supposed to do. So,
like she's not a coward and a traitor, though. She's just an idiot.
If are you going to explain your plan to him? Or are you going to tell him to piss off?
Okay, and then she didn't explain the plan, and then a mutiny happened.
The way it shows us who is the good guy and who is the bad guy. Because of traditional framing techniques, we are...
Framing techniques? What do you mean framing? What frame do I need to understand who the smart person is and who the dumb person is?
The only thing this motherfucker's ever framed is a cock in his mouth.
What frame would make you understand this scene better? I don't know. A frame narrative? Like someone in the future is explaining the Holdo maneuver, and this is what happened that led up to it. You're like, okay, why did you do that? That's stupid.
Maybe one of the end credits or something. Maybe that's the frame he's talking about.
What is he on about?
Convinced that Poe's right and Holdo is wrong, until the rug gets pulled out from under us. Star Wars movies have conditioned you to believe in the underdog, that because we follow Poe around the most, that because we see things from his perspective, and because he was the one who was a hotshot, cool, daring pilot who saved Finn, destroyed Starkiller Base, and took down a dreadnought, that he must be the one who's correct.
And he is.
Yes, he is absolutely correct in this. Yes.
He's right. It's like he is absolutely right to question why the hell so many casualties, so many, at least at face value, stupid decisions when it comes to running away from the First Order in the fucking first place.
Yeah, the only thing I could say that Poe gets some revelation is near the end where he's looking at the giant, was it the death laser thing that's burning the hole? He says, okay, this is not winnable, we can't do this. And he bails, and we see him bail out of his crazy little machine. And,
Yeah.
And he says, yeah, we can't, but Finn's like, no, we're going to do it. The other one is when he realizes that Luke is just killing time for everyone to escape, which isn't much of a revelation, but at least it's something. He's like, because Luke just does not say a goddamn thing. Like, I really hate that scene where Luke just walks out. You're like, Luke, are you helping us? What are you doing? And we don't.
I mean, with the exception of the lightsaber being the wrong color, it's like if you don't see that it's real, not really him. It's like I saw through it right away that he wasn't actually there.
Yeah, but
he looks like Billy Mays.
To Poe, it's like, this is our opportunity to run away, which is what you were doing the entire time anyway. So it really makes no difference whether you're getting an extra 2 minutes. You're still running away. To be
fair, I'm pretty sure. I mean, didn't he figure it out like right away? At the very least, like the moment they started.
The sense of time with these scenes is a little hard to follow because he was he was in that crazy little broken down speeder for like a kilometer or so, at least 1 or 2 kilometers, and then he skids out of the way to the side, and there's this bunker he goes under, so he has to run all the way under that bunker. While that's happening, Luke pops up, and while that's happening, Finn does his thing. Finn is dragging Rose throughout the entire battlefield, 2 kilometers, and suddenly Luke pops up and does his thing. And then Finn and everyone else are watching this happen. You're just like, oh, I guess this is our opportunity to keep running, the thing we've already been doing. And that's what they do. They just keep running through the bottom of the mines or whatever those caves are.
Yeah.
Like it's not a great revelation, but it's like at least he makes a choice. He says, "Okay, now we can keep going. We can keep running away." Yeah, I know it's not special or anything, but yeah. Anyway.
That insane risk plans are the only ones with any chance to work. The decisions that Holdo makes are perfectly fine and reasonable.
How? People are dying, ships are being lost, they're running out of fuel. She's communicated nothing. Why can't she share the plan? There's nothing stopping her. Nothing.
Film is trying to trick you, make you think that Poe is right and that she's wrong.
Poe is right, she is wrong.
Or evil, because we haven't followed her as closely.
No, it doesn't matter whether we have all the information. Poe is asking for a basic information from his superior. That's it. It's a very simple thing. People are dying. We're losing men. We're losing ships. Are we going to die here? Like, just give me. Maybe it's one of those last stands where the commander's like, they don't want to talk because they realize everyone's going to die. That could be it. But without the narrative telling us, like, that's all we got. That's all we know. It's like, yeah, we're just dying. Everyone's going to kill us. And that's a reasonable assessment considering nothing has changed. They're still in a one-way course to wherever. And even that planet is pretty dumb. Because they're just going to follow them to a freaking planet with all their armaments and all their ships. Just going to, bombard them if they wanted. Which they didn't do for some reason. Anyway.
We don't know. In reality, she had a plan. A much more sensible one than Poe's. Poe's plan is stupid. Just downright stupid.
What's his plan?
Yes. Yes, leaving is much more stupid than staying where you are and having your forces die slowly.
What was Poe's plan? I don't remember.
To leave! His plan was to go in a different direction.
Is he referring to the whole screw up their tracker and then teleport away?
No, he was just planning, okay, we need to leave, so let's go to hyperspace and leave. But their plan is to just list slowly through space while the fucking First Order shoots them in the back.
Okay.
It's with little chance of success, but it fits in perfectly with the kind of character that he is and what we've seen in Star Wars before. Desperate, high risk, low chance of
Well, actually, this isn't really his plan. It's Finn and Rose's idea. He just says, okay, this is better than nothing. This is all we got.
success. He doesn't see all the various ways it could go wrong. He doesn't see the fact that all they have to base this off of is a theory. And yes, the theory turns out to be correct, but they don't know that, and all Poe can see is the end result of saving the day. It's the same way...
Yeah, that's called taking risks.
Which is all we've got from the narrative.
Mm-hmm.
It's possible Holo could have had all these, contingencies, and she could have, just MacGyvered everything and done amazingly, but, there was no build-up. There's nothing.
Yeah, the problem throughout the whole movie is that she does have a plan. Spoilers, she does have a plan, and however stupid you think it is, to each his own. I do think it's stupid. But she had a plan at the end of the day, and she kept him in the dark for that long.
Yeah, for no reason.
And things almost went so wrong so badly, which it was only as simple as telling him what you were going to do, and say, if he thought it was viable enough, he would have helped you.
Yeah. He had no orders. He was given no direction, which is not what you do. You bring people into the conversation in a leadership role. You have to give them something to do. You can't just say sit in your ass while the rest of our people die. It's just not. This is not what you do in leadership positions, especially in the military.
And you especially don't do this to the first officer.
Yeah, why
the
was
second in command?
Why wasn't he involved? I don't understand. I can understand people beneath Poe not involved, but why wasn't the guy who has direct communication?
Yeah, why not? Why not the first officer?
Yeah,
first mate essentially.
He would organize things a lot better to get people to leave and escape, and why not? He'd be really motivated. He's really gung ho.
Especially since it's very well established partway through the movie that he most definitely has the trust of everyone else on the ship.
Yeah.
Holdo could have used that to her advantage and organized her own damn plan better with that.
Yeah,
but no.
It's a weird, I can't tell anyone to the last minute sort of bullshit. You're like, why? No, there's no need for that.
Yeah.
If they didn't do that, there wouldn't be a ticking clock.
Sure. I don't think it would have hurt the precious ticking clock. Would have made things go more smoothly in terms of her plan.
They could have made a much more interesting story of organizing the escape and everyone rushing with people and all these extra actors and getting things onto a ship and da-da-da-da. That would have been way more interesting and action-packed than just Poe flipping his lid. What's the plan? It's just come on.
Yeah, just have them work together, and then the conflict would come from how to organize everything and everyone for the plan.
And you could have so many great scenes of people arguing and fighting and, all take this, don't take that. You could split that up into a trailer very well, but instead it's just nothing. Nothing happens, and he just pulls a gun on her. That's it. They could have they could have 4 or 5 people pulling guns on each other because they're I don't want to go with you, and we got to take this and all this other arguments. More conflict. No, can't do that.
Yeah. The problem is the why rather than the how. I think that the how of it would have been a bit more interesting, more entertaining. because the conflict would have then come from, oh, how do we organize? How do we get everyone out and execute the plan? It's like Holdo has one way, Poe has another, and there still would have been a conflict between the two.
And they could have brought in.
But guess what? They would have still both. Everyone would still have been clued in on the plan anyway. It's just a matter of how, not of why.
They could have brought in the side characters that died, that realized this is their last mission, and they got to be a sacrifice, or try to look like this is their plan to say, I gotta give my life so everyone else can live, which I think happened in Babylon 5 with. Bryan Cranston, he played a ranger where there's that one scene near the end of the series where they're like, listen, we need you to die in your crew. And they agree with it because because they signed up to do this. We need it to make it look good that you were trying to deliver this information because we're planting that information to corral them into the one area. And like that was a big dramatic scene, and then they hired this one actor just to do this scene, which happens to be Bryan Cranston. So it worked out very well. They could have had so many great scenes with this escape plan, but nope. They had that dumb scene with Leia, and she's on her cane, talking about how great Poe is. You're like, oh, give me a break.
I'm pretty sure Poe actually knowing the plan would have probably given at least somewhat greater stakes to the mutiny.
It would have given the actor something to do, aside from getting angry.
Yeah, just angry because he doesn't know what's going on.
Pretty much, yeah. All right, we are almost a minute done. Oh, my God. Let's go.
All he cares about is destroying it and refuses to acknowledge that his boneheaded attack only resulted in one thing.
Dead heroes. No leaders.
Okay, wait a second. This is another problem I have.
Dead heroes and alive other heroes.
So whoever signed off on this plan must have been someone above Poe. So,
like Leia?
Like maybe Leia, maybe another admiral, I don't know. But the idea was, I'm going to kamikaze myself and destroy all these dumb turrets for some dumb reason, and then we're going to bomb the ship. I don't know how that works logically because you're in space. You can go at any angle, but fine. Poe is like, I'm crazy, let me do it. They're like, okay, Poe, you're the best guy we got. Go for it, buddy. And he pulls it off. He's amazing. And then the second team, or the second part of the plan is escort the bombers over there to bomb the thing. And Leia, for whatever reason, says, okay, Poe, you did your part. Come on back. And to me, that sounds like abort the mission. That's what it sounds like. But he's like, no. We're not done yet. We got to stop this thing. And no matter however dumb that scene was, he finished his mission. Okay, the thing got destroyed with those dumb bombers.
Yes.
So you could argue all you want that it was a bad plan. It probably was a bad plan. Bad armaments. But it was successful.
Still worked.
It still worked. He finished his mission. There are casualties in war. You accept that and you move on.
Yes. And
she should know this. This person in charge of this all should know the cost of fighting.
Especially after the original trilogy.
Yes. And I'm like, what is going on in this scene?
And also, in hindsight, she also, at some degree, knew about the Clone Wars as well, thanks to the one line in A New Hope.
And if it wasn't for Poe stopping that ship the way that he did it, everyone would be dead. Because there was this whole 20 seconds of that realignment of that laser, what do they call it? The autocannon? I don't know. And
the autocannon, I guess.
And it was about to blow away the Raddus. And even Leia is like, she's sensing something, like something big is about to happen. And instead of them getting destroyed, the Dreadnought gets destroyed.
Yeah.
And then she looks at her console and she goes, oh, we lost all these people. It's like, yeah, instead of losing everything. At that point, you're like, Poe, don't ever do that again. I realize what you did was win, but we can't lose more people.
Yeah, but on the other hand, this is war.
I know that. This should be the lesson to Poe at that point, saying, listen, buddy, what you did was amazing, and you saved us, but we're running really thin right now. We can't keep doing this. We need different tactics.
But still, though, that still wouldn't make sense, because if he hadn't done that, they would have just been blown up by the fucking cannon.
Oh yeah, no,
like
yeah,
Plo even like says they are fleet killers.
yeah, exactly.
Well, what are they gonna do?
And again, Leia herself is a major issue when it comes to the shit Poe takes in this film. Because, like we said earlier, she more than anyone here knows the cost of war.
And that's the problem with the movie, because they blow up this amazingly powerful big dreadnought, and all of a sudden this ridiculously over-the-top, insurmountable sized one pops out of nowhere. And you're like, oh shit, now what do we do? So all the lessons that he could have learned are now like, okay, now we just got the run. There's no way we can stop that. But, you know, they have to get the other characters involved. So it's like, all right, fine, there has to be other stories.
The lesson is that, you can't just solve every problem by blowing things up. Like, and then later on he gets into an X-Wing and blows things up.
Yeah.
And that saves the day.
Yeah, thanks, Holdo. Yes, great.
Oh wait, maybe that was it. The lesson wasn't you can't get into an X-Wing and blow things up. You need to blow things up with a capital ship. That was the lesson that Poe Poe needed to learn.
All right, thank you, Leia.
Okay, we got it.
All right.
Yeah.
Here's Ania Jones. Thank you for the 20. They made Pooh dumb. He has no reason not to tell her his plan. In his view, she had no plan. The better idea would have been for Holdo to turn plan down, and then he went behind her back. He should never have had a space chase. Well, I understand the concept of a space chase. I don't understand the execution of whatever we just watched. Usually space chases are fast. They take, a very short time. It's very action-packed. But this was a slow motion space chase. And the argument was they're faster and lighter, so we're not as fast to catch them.
Oh, if they're faster and lighter, then if they're faster and lighter in regular, not hyperspace, then go around them in hyperspace.
Yeah, I know. I know it's so obvious, but they have all these capital ships. They don't use them. They have all these Star Destroyers just hanging out. Just like, yeah, whatever.
No, they're just like the fucking bowling. They're just a bunch of bowling pins. That's all they are.
Yeah, it's bizarre. This whole movie is bizarre. Anyway, less than a minute. Let's go.
This is also why I disagree with those who say it should have been Admiral Akbar doing all this.
Why? He's a known character. We care about him. And it would be really weird for him to do crazy shit like not tell people plans because he's like a really cool dude. He's like, wait, why isn't he sharing information? Why isn't he helping out his subordinates? I thought he was a cool guy. That would make us at least care about the character, not hate him. We'd be concerned. We'd be like, what the hell's wrong with Akbar? As opposed to, what the hell's wrong with this weird purple lady we've never heard of?
It needs to be someone unknown to us.
No. Why?
And our viewpoint character, or else we trust them to be making the right decision.
No. Even if it was Luke, we'd be like, Luke, what the hell's wrong with you?
You can have... oh, God. What was it, Master and Commander, the movie with Gene Hackman and Denzel Washington? I think that was it. Where, like their whole thing was that they're arguing against each other, and both of their plans are sound. Right? Like, what they're saying and the conclusions that they came to, they make sense. Holdo doesn't fucking make sense. Ever. At all. Like, oh my God, that Trilby is cutting off circulation to his brain, I swear to God.
That is such a strange take. Because we know the character, therefore we trust him? It's like, what? Why? He's a secondary character in the other films, and he's enough for us to go nostalgic and go, okay, I think... But that's the thing with the whole TLJ, is everyone is not the same. Like, Leia's not the same. Kylo is even different. I'm not even sure what Kylo wants anymore. All the characters are not what we think. So why not do Akbar? Why create more? Why do you need to create more characters? Use them. They're all going to die anyway. Most of them die in the first place, so who cares?
This is Poe's development.
No, it literally is not. There's conflict, obviously, but what is he learning?
Yes, he's developing into a worse soldier by just taking orders as he gets them and not thinking ever.
Yeah, he cares about the men and women who've just died in the other ships. He's like, what's going on? We have no idea what we're doing. Can you imagine that going into war and your commander's not telling you what to do? Just hold position. It's like, why? We're dying. There's no purpose.
It's like, hold position. The artillery's getting closer. Hold position. Like, there's tanks on us. Hold position. They're in the trenches. Okay, I'm gonna kill myself. Oh, thanks, Thanks, Captain.
I'm gonna strap a bomb to my chest and run out there and blow up a tank. It's like, what? That's your plan? Okay.
His head out of his pit and recognizing there are other ways of doing things, and sometimes it's more important to save lives than saunter away after pulling off a death-defying act.
Wait a second. Okay. He is concerned with saving lives. That's his whole issue. People are dying.
That's the whole point. That's the whole point of him doing that plan in the first place. Because that stunt he pulls at the beginning of the movie, that still saved everyone else.
Holy crap.
Albeit for a little bit.
This is bizarre.
Yeah.
Back over development, we see Finn's furthered as he and Rose are brought before General Hux, and they spot DJ being given a ship and a payment. He shrugs off their outrage since they got caught and he cut a deal. The earlier transmission with Poe revealing the escaping transports. Take it easy, Finn. They blow you up today, you blow them up tomorrow. It's just business. I mean, calm down. You're just about to be executed. What's the big deal? And thus Finn gets to look at the face of selfishness, of not caring about the cause and only your own concerns, allowing the only hope for the galaxy to be picked off. That's why it doesn't matter if the trip and back to Canto Bight was a failure, because this is what it's actually about.
Wait a second. Wait. The whole point.
First of all, that's the video.
The whole point of Canto Bight was for DJ to tell them the First Order that they're using cloaking technology. Really? I've never heard that before.
Where was that in the movie?
I don't recall that being a focus of the narrative. It seemed like a giant waste of time. And a lack of communication between Holdo and Poe, which could have been avoided.
Yes.
If only Holdo told them the plan, they'd be like, oh, that's the plan. Okay, we won't have to do this other thing because we're following you now. Holy crap, dude. What a bizarre defense. Anyway, geez, I don't know if anyone's made any stream memes, but we'll find out.
Yes.
There's a few, yeah.
There are some pretty good ones.
I mean, I was gonna say, it's like with the way we're gonna do number 400. Would you think it's at least a decent idea to just do part 3 of this tomorrow, so it gives more time for people to get ready for 400? Just get this over with and then do 400 the next day.
It's all up to the voting. I don't mind either way.
Yesterday as well.
Oh, you didn't? We did memes yesterday.
All right. So, you will never find a more wretched hive of scum and villainy. And here we were looking at Canto Bight, I think? I think so. All right.
Yes.
If I show this ring to the kid, maybe he'll help us. Hey, that's the symbol of the government that has ignored the slavery of this planet for 30 years. Yeah, why would this kid like these guys? Yeah, exactly. Well, wow, you have a Cracker Jack ring. That's great. Who are you? Do you have any candy? Oh, boy.
Me instead of the fucking horses? No? Okay, cool.
Now listen
Bye.
here, fat. We're making a big ol' omelet, and you know, the thing about the omelets is that the eggs, there's a lot of... Is this an actual quote?
No, this is combining Joe Biden with Senator Armstrong.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. Now listen here, fat. We're making a big old omelet, and you know, the thing about the omelets is the eggs, there's a lot of eggs, Jack. And you gotta know, I learned this when I was a senator, that you're baking a cake, you got to use the eggs, and the eggs. You see, Trump, he don't got the eggs. I get the eggs, Jack, and you can't fret over all the eggs because some eggs are different.
Wow.
Because nanomachines, son.
Oh my god. I wish there was technology to repair his brain, but sadly.
Yeah, well, I mean,
Oh, what the fuck?
It comes,
Nanoma
is this?
black hairs, son.
well, it comes in little tiny boxes. There's they're cylindrical in shape and they're measured in millimeters. Let's just say that.
All right, here is what is this? Ken, what is I for Gore?
I for Gore death.
I for Gore, and that's Mume. She's a VTuber.
Okay.
Very, very incredibly forgetful one.
I mean, everyone cares. Everyone only cares about the doggo.
I don't like Emperor Palpatine, and I disapprove of what he did. But if I lived there, I'm such a physical nasty beast. I'd be like his top guy. What?
Well, shit.
Is this a Sam Hyde reference?
Yes, I think that's Sam Hyde talking about Hitler dressed as Darth Vader.
Okay.
I'm such a physical nasty beast right now.
Think all of physics is in your textbooks, do you? Need them, you do not. Burn them, you should.
Bruh.
Thanks, Physics Yoda. Poe Dameron's character development after interacting with Admiral Holdo colorized. Oh. 21st night of the 21st year of the 21st century. Only time to repub this.
Yeah, except for the other 8 times that we could, and then the 3 more we still have left.
Yeah. All right, that's cool. And then along came
This is
Palp.
the best.
Yeah.
What is going on here?
No, just
the joke Bears made that that almost killed me.
I don't know what I'm looking at. What are these?
It's the muses. from
Hercules.
Oh, the muses. Okay, I gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like Bears sang that part of the song earlier in the stream, and it almost killed
The
me.
Herald is Thunderbolt.
Also, why is Hawk there?
Listen, we needed to fit.
But they made Hawk the fat one.
And everyone's just,
I love how you especially picked like Mace's like screaming face.
Yep. Well, I mean, the lightning bolt's hitting him directly, so of course it's more painful for him.
Of course.
Crimson Tide. Okay, so we got Linkara likes something and Holdo and Poe.
Linkara likes Poe versus Holdo. Meanwhile,
this is
I don't know the other one.
that is submarine something?
Yeah, I remember this. Yeah.
Some submarine movie, I can't remember.
Okay.
I think
It was
that's
the movie that Bears was mentioning.
Oh yeah, it's Master and Commander.
Master
if I'm
and
not mistaken.
All right. He doesn't like
Okay.
that. Okay. And Linkara thinks we ought to listen to this woman. Poe, there is a plan, okay, and it smells like the sun.
Yeah.
And Mike Testa, we got
Virgin Linkara versus Chad Doug Walker over when he plays. Or when he NG.
Yeah.
I gotta see Money Plays what that's all about.
I'm gonna link you the video.
All right.
Yeah, it's like the thing. Doug takes the joke. Doug gets the joke. Linkara doesn't.
Yeah, I got it. All right. Well, thanks, guys. That was kind of strange. I think the stream on my side cut out, but YouTube kept running. So my timer says an hour and 30 seconds, but YouTube says 2 hours and 30 seconds, or 2 hours and 30 minutes.
It kept going the whole time.
Yeah. So anyway, that was. I didn't think we were going to do a second part because the first time we saw it, it was like, this is dumb. This guy's way off.
Well,
But anyway,
we'll see it next year for the 3rd part, I guess.
yeah, maybe I don't know. We could be doing another one.
No, this should be a yearly thing.
Oh, with Linkara? Oh God.
Yeah.
With Linkara, really. I would have just thought like get part 3 over with tomorrow so people could get ready for Smudcast 400.
All right. Well, anyway, thanks, guys. Keep the suggestions coming. I'm okay with covering whatever we vote on tonight or tomorrow. But in case you don't know, I did make a post about Smudcast 400. If you have any suggestions or you want someone to come on and talk about a specific video or content or article, we're going to be doing a multi-parted Smud Talk. So keep the suggestions. I believe it's called Smudcast 400 in the section, in the channel there.
Smorcast 400 discussion. Yes, that's where we're putting everything there.
And I'm just
Smordcast?
Smudcast.
Yeah, it's basically Smudcast 400 is basically going to be in the Smudcast style, where it's like people bring in their topics or bring in like shorter videos. It's like the idea is that people is going to bring people on to discuss the topics 1-to-1.
Yeah. So we might go for half an hour, we might go for 40 minutes, we could go for an hour on each topic. I want to have as many people as I can get on talking about whatever they like. So that's the idea. Keep the suggestions coming. Thank you so much. Have yourself a great evening, and bye-bye.